What is up, chat? What is up, chat? What is up, chat? I'm sorry for that I'm late, bana. Nilikuwa na video nilikuwa naona hapa hivi distract. So, nimeona iko na part B. So that mini video about the equalizer. So that is what I'm gonna watch today. So, apologize again for being late, but hii video ilikuwa kali bana. The man is describing the equalizer thing perfectly. That's why it's descriptions zake ziko kali. Anyway, we continue with the video for where I left off. Kwenye Niko.
Just like that. So the scene starts with my boy Robert McCall on a train, looking like he just got back from the mosque. This is not Denzel. This is Abdul Washington. He heads to the back bar to scoop out a drink, and look at him.
What's Abdul doing on a train?
You know you didn't have to bring out that whole stash for one drink.
It's just doing at the cash.
I swear, this is how niggas be acting around the hubs. As soon as this company, niggas just start acting different. Hey, anybody got change for 10,000? So this guy comes and sits next to McCall asking what is he doing in Turkey? Because of course his American accent gave it away. I'm just out here looking for a deadbeat father who kidnapped his own daughter from her mother.
Hold up, what?
And by dude's reaction, you can tell that story hit a little too close to home. Sounded like McCall was talking about him. Nigga wasn't taking any chances. He gets up, then his men come pressing Mac. But of course, before he started getting busy, he had to start his rollie. First guy tries to come and grab him, only to catch hot tea to the face, then glasses right in his eyeballs. Damn, he really Nick Fury'd him. Let me use this real quick. Smack to the head. Who do you think you're shooting?
Nick Fury'd him is
you don't need that throat no more. This guy tries a cheeky stab, but gets pulled down, then rocked in the mouth, makes him stab himself in the heart, then just snaps his neck. This nigga was in the back watching the entire thing. The goat sits down and tells him, "You got any last words?" So yeah, McCall goes back to the US and brings the child back home to her mother.
So it's like doing.
So remember how McCall was working at a warehouse like me? He upgraded. Yeah. He's now a part-time Lyft driver, but he's still the neighborhood hero. Nigga really Batman without the mask. This French guy walks into his crib.
Bro is literally the most dangerous man on the planet. In this universe, equalizer world, he's the most dangerous person on the planet. Lakini anafanya yendo onjoro wa ubao mtaa.
And his wife is terrified, looking like she just seen the Holy Ghost. But nah, that wasn't the case. There were 3 men already inside, and they did not waste any time. They popped her in the head, then grabbed him and sat him down. Bro didn't even know what was going on, but they put the gun in his hand and blew his head off. Blow! Making it look like he killed his own wife, then killed himself. Free him. Shit got me thinking. What did he do to make them niggas that mad? Anyways, McCall gets a request for a drop-off. So he pulls up, and when he gets there is this girl. And by the looks of her, she's been beaten and raped. So McCall wasn't just about to take her home. He does the right thing and takes her straight to the hospital. Neighborhood hero for real. But that wasn't it. He pulls back up to the Jews that she was with and was like, the card was invalid for the ride. So Connor here pulls out the black card and was like, my bad. Give yourself a nice tip as well. Okay, rich boy. But McCall ain't care about all that. Bro been paid. He's like, you didn't ask if Shorty got home safe. And this clown obviously didn't give 2 shits. Yeah, Mac did not fuck with that sarcasm. So he's like, bet, I'm gonna need your cameras, phones, and anything you might have used to record what you guys did to her. And Connor's just standing there stunned like, who the fuck is this guy? He calmly walks to the door and locks it. And yeah, that's when they really messed up. And for you nerds in the comments, I know his name is not Connor. I ain't know it, so I'm just calling him the first name that popped to my head. Connor. And honestly, this guy kind of looks like a Connor anyways. Max starts his watch, then Connor throws his weak ass hook, only to get it blocked and sliced in the head. Shout out to the black card. Then Mac just...
Bro, is it that tech bro or whatchamacallit? Finance bro, yes.
Just breaks his arm. Side character 101 steps in cause Connor was getting way too much screen time. He eats one to the gut, smacked in the back of the head, dropped to the floor, and yeah, his arm gets broken as well. John comes in because his boys were getting violated, but doesn't think to pick up a weapon or nothing. He just comes in with 2 hands and that tight ass suit, and nigga did all that to get his ACL torn.
Wait a minute. These NPCs are insane. I've just seen somebody get his shit taken. I've seen the other person that went to help him with no weapon had his arms broken. Why would you think in any way in your tech bro brain would you think that your tight suit is gonna do anything? Get serious, man.
Then his head snapped. Nah, look at the look on his face. Mac
Bro
ain't killing
died.
them, but he definitely gonna be wearing one of these for a minute. And I don't know if he's ever gonna be able to do this. So now we got 3 down and 2 to go. This guy right here already looked like he wanted to cry. So Mac gives him the benefit of the doubt and tells him to come here.
Come here.
Stupid.
Yeah, he gets a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 piece, no biscuit. Low-key make it 6 because the couch got
No
an extra
ring.
hit. So now that everyone knows there was a demon in the room, this idiot that was on 1 HP decides, it would be a great idea to get up right now. And yeah, Denzel just yanks his tie down, knocking his ass right back out. Max stops his watch and the last guy on the couch might be the smartest one because he ain't jump in. Or maybe
Yeah.
he's just a little Actually, he
Little
is, because
bitch.
how are you already crying? You haven't even been touched.
Try.
Mac tells him to dial 911 and report everything they did to that girl. You cannot tell me this guy isn't pissing himself right now. Right or left? What do you mean? Are you right or left-handed? Right.
Right.
He tells him to raise his left hand, and Brody started crying even more. And Denzel had no time for this. So he grabs
principal's office anakwambia haya wekelea chini kuja hadi sijakuguza ukiguza tunaanza
his face and does that whisper parents do when they're mad as shit. Give me your left hand. Nigga raises it and McCall snaps it. Nah, this shit would be the worst pain ever. Then before he leaves, he tells him to give him a 5-star rating. And as soon as he got downstairs and into his car, so yeah, Mac heads back to the crib and his best friend Susan is there. And she a real one, cause it was Mac's wife's birthday and she actually flew down just to have dinner with him. These are the type of people you have to have around you. Not motherfuckers that say they're about to hop on the game and they don't. Anyways, Nicole got this kid Miles painting over graffiti in their little complex or whatever. And every time I see this kid, I can't help but to think about that time he pulled up to the red carpet without a cut. And listen, I ain't hating, he's obviously successful. But gang, come on. Surely you could have got a lineup or something. So Susan starts looking into that murder case from earlier. If you forgot, that nigga that they killed and made it look like he murdered his wife. Susan was really cracking down on this homicide, which was bad. While Susan was in the city where people say, croissant. Gang, it's croissant. Don't make life hard. Anyways, while she was in Paris, her and Dave were cracking down the case and doing the investigating. But when she gets to her hotel, she gets flanked by 2 guys and they start beating her ass. And this part, man, this shit was so sad. Like, that was my dog for real. They beat her up and unalive her. So obviously Mac gets the call from her husband Brian about what happened, and that was the spark that set it all. McCall flies back to DC for the funeral, but he couldn't attend because he was a dead man. So he just watched from up far. But after Brian explains the so-called death as a robbery, but nothing was really adding up because Susan never wore jewelry. Shit didn't sound right, so McCall had to start doing his own investigating. As Mac was trying to put all the pieces together, the 2 ops that got Susan ended up getting beamed. So yeah, it was clear this was big and they were cutting any loose ends. After days of digging and checking CCTV footage, Mac realizes he's gonna need help from an old friend. Dave, his former partner before retirement. I mean, before he faked his death. And yeah, he was shocked because imagine seeing a dead man. McCall lets Dave know that Susan's death couldn't have been a robbery. She never pressed a button in the elevator, and the knife wound was too perfect. Straight to the heart. That meant whoever did this were trained killers, not thieves. So Dave agrees to help Mac and figure this whole thing out. Denzel heads back to the crib and starts digging through the case that Susan was investigating, because maybe these 2 are connected. Bro was reenacting the entire scene like it was CSI. He figures out that there had to be someone else in that room. The gun that was used to kill his wife was shot by someone who was left-handed. So Mac tells Dave that Susan was probably killed because she was about to find out the truth about that murder case and who else was in that room. And if that's the case, that's why they killed her. McCall realizes Miles hasn't been outside painting for a minute, so he goes to the projects and this clown tries stopping him, but he gets 1 to the throat, then cracks his shit, pop, knocking him straight out. And by the looks of it, he's probably gonna be
bro, he's not gonna be feeling his steam in the morning. Damn,
asleep for a good hour. Mac grabs his gun and heads upstairs, and as soon as the elevator door opens, Bodylocks here gets his head smacked to the wall.
Bodylocks is a wild
Then this dude gets pistol whipped, hooked, and tossed in the elevator. Nah, if it was supposed to be some type of gangster or drug dealer, he gotta hang it up, cause ain't no way. I mean, lucky for him, nobody caught that shit on camera, cause his so-called gangster card should be revoked. But knowing niggas, when he wakes up, he gonna be telling the story like this.
One nigga run to the front door.
They jump me.
I hop out, I start shooting. Bow. bow, bow.
Anywho, McCall walks in the trap house and we got Miles smoking gas, hoes cooking crack, and OG's giving bad advice. This is
He's in the
literally the
trap
pinnacle
house.
of a trap house. Mac walks in with 2 pistols and tells Miles to get his ass up. And of course he's listened because he's a good boy. Miles low-key reminds me of Ja Morant. Like they want to be street so bad. Like gang, it's 2025.
Gang.
You don't get any brownie points for trying to be gangster.
You do not get any glaze, no hours for being a gangster. I mean, it's weird.
Matter of fact, these days that shit is lame.
Me not getting love, the proper love from my entire family made me seek love from niggas.
What?
Say that again.
He said, I'm gonna need you to repeat yourself.
Seek love from niggas.
This nigga's a homosexual.
He
So
is a
McCall heads
homosexual.
downstairs, hands Miles the gun and was like, you want to be a killer, right? All right, kill me first.
Kill me.
Shoot me. And of course, Miles couldn't do it because he's not with it. So Mac grabs
You're
the
not-
gun and
you're not
points
that
it right
guy.
at him and tells him this is what a real killer looks like. And just by the look at Miles' eyes, you can tell he never wanted this life. The eyes never lie, Chico. The eyes don't lie.
the eyes
Mac
don't
leaves
lie,
and tells him
Chico.
to make a choice. And yeah, the next day he rocks up to his house because I guess he decided he doesn't want to be a hood
That's my
idiot
guy.
or
That's
actually
my
a street
guy.
idiot anymore. While McCall's
my
back at the
guy.
job doing drop-offs as usual, he picks up Mo Salah and something fell off.
Wait,
So
Mo
McCall
Salah?
starts driving around the same block a few times. And the thing is, Salah didn't say a word. So that made it obvious. He pulls out a knife, but McCall starts driving left and right, had Salah in the back like this. Brody couldn't stay still. Mac gives him 2 elbows to the nose. Clink, clink. Had red Kool-Aid coming out. He crashes the car, grabs his arm while still driving and cracks it. Pop to the face, sending him flying back to the back seat. And I can't lie, this has to be
Imagine calling your insurance and telling them that you have people, the crazy drivers in the road, and they're trying to kill each other. That's why they crashed you at the side of your car.
the worst hitman
A
I've ever
really
seen.
likely
Who sent this
story.
nigga? I've never shot a gun in my life, barely even seen that shit. But I probably could do a way better job than this bozo right here.
Try!
Brody
He's
pulls
a
out the
trained
pistol, so
assassin.
Mac just hits the brakes, grabs his hands while still not trying to crash, then just hits a dead stop. Nigga falls to the front and bang bang. Mac grabs his phone and burns him in the car. That was the worst hitman of all time. Hopefully they didn't prepay him, because if you did,
That shit's
anyways,
embarrassing.
McCall rolls up to Dave's crib and announces, introducing himself to his wife. He shows Dave the phone he got from that hitman and tells him they're cutting loose ends. Nobody's safe. Me, you, your family, we're all in danger. But then he calls the last number the phone rang.
Ooh.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the
Brogo found out quickly. I mean, what is the exact explanation you're trying to give yourself?
fakeness. If you wanna play tough,
It's
wanna
embarrassing.
Nah, this guy deadass got caught red-handed. So Dave tries to explain why Susan was killed. She was about to figure out the Brussels contract and who was in that room, and that would have exposed the agency and all their dirty corruption. Damn, those 2 geezers earlier wasn't even the ones who did it. Dave was the one that shanked her in the heart. I knew there was something up with this guy. He didn't look trustworthy. They both step outside
Suspicious.
and Dave goes, sorry, you're a loose end. But McCall wasn't worried because he was like, y'all messed up. Y'all killed my best friend. Now I'm gonna kill every single one of you. Then nigga asks Dave's wife for a lift to the station. And of course she says yes. And look at him, smiling like crazy. Nah, he really playing with him, dead in their face.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
First, Dave's crew tries to take out Susan's husband, Brian. So they roll up to his house deep, about to Swiss cheese him. And I gotta give it to
That's
Brian, because he
dead.
ain't no Brody was ready with the double pump. He was not about to get caught lacking like his
Yeah,
wife.
gonna
But
get
just as they
lacking.
pull up, McCall was already in the crib. They head out the back, get in the whip. They were gone. After dropping off Brian to a telly, he receives a call from Miles, and McCall must have forgot he was touching up walls at his crib. And while he was on the phone, he hears the dogs barking and instantly knows something is off. Them hounds never bark unless they're hungry or there's danger, and them niggas just ate. Mac tells Miles to look out the window, and when he does, he sees David and his goons sliding up, and
The
these boys
goon
rolled up
squad.
with pizza boxes looking like DoorDash and shit. McCall checks his cameras and yeah, they were breaking in his crib. So he quickly tells Miles to hide in the secret room. This shit would have been stressful because he had to look for a book to find the secret button. He finally finds it and gets in. Dave and his goons search the whole crib, and just as he's about to shoot the double mirror, Mac calls him. You mind watering my plants since you're in my house? And this got Dave tight because Mac is clearly not at home. He tells Dave to come meet him where it all started. And just like that, they leave the crib. And I'm not even lying. Not even 10 minutes goes past, and this nigga Miles gets out the house trying to leave. And as soon as he does,
He gets
Yeah,
guards.
they were spawn camping. Anyways, McCall heads back to his old town by the seaside, and it's low-key perfect because the whole
idiot.
place is evacuating for the storm. Empty streets, boarded up houses, nothing but wind and waves. This was a straight-up horror movie vibe. Dave and his crew pull up too, but this is how I know they were low-key cooked. The police stopped them like, yo, there's a storm coming. Y'all gotta turn back. And instead of playing it cool, these dudes just blicked the cop. Mac parks up and
no
Dave and them
reason.
start hunting him down. Well, Dave took the high ground because he didn't want to be on the ground with that demon. I probably would have done the same thing too. Why
I mean,
go
I
out
won't
there
lie.
if
I
you have
wouldn't have
pawns
doing
you
the
can
same
send?
thing.
The first dude walks in this shed in stealth mode. He sees Mac and shoots him. Psych, it was his
Psych.
reflection. Nigga comes out and bang, swishes a fishing hook right through his head.
Damn.
Gang, your boy is dead.
He gone.
The rest start pushing towards the ocean, and this dude catches it bad. He sees a picture of Susan and instantly catches a knife to the rib, then the leg, then one straight to the nuts. Bro's face said it all, but he was not done. He slices his arm, shoves him to the wall.
Why? That man has to have kids eventually at some point. I would want to assume.
Stabs him in the liver, and to finish it off, just for that extra little seasoning, that little nibble, he slices his throat.
Damn.
Now he was really hunting them down like animals. Mac then shoots the power line, blinding Dave, and quickly runs to the other side. He heads to his wife's
Squabbled.
old bakery, slices open all the bags of flour and flips the fan on, turning that hoe into a blizzard. Dave sends one of his boys inside, thinking they caught a fish in a net. Brody tosses the smoke grenade inside, and boom! Yeah, he was cooked. Nigga flew back like 100 yards.
That
And though it
was
looked
a
like he
bad
might have
idea.
survived, he was far from it. All his
Kitu nimeona sana ikiongelelewa ni the fact that ngano inaweza lipuka. I have never thought about it like that. But I've seen it enough in the movies to be worried about it.
insides were out. Nigga looked like fresh spaghetti. Dave, it's just me and you now. Nobody else is left. Not exactly. Yeah, Dave had Miles. He tells Mac to show himself, and if he does, he won't kill the kid. And we all know that was cap. Dave starts messing with him, shooting at the car. Side mirror, bang. Tail light, bang. He goes for the trunk, but Mac shoots the tire, missing it clean, and that pisses Dave off. He gets up, but the wind flings him back. I don't know what type of wind this is, but this shit was strong as hell. Dave gets back up, but can't see or hear McCall at all. And just as he's about to shoot at the car, this nigga McCall shows up behind him. And I don't know how the hell he got up there that quick, but hey, movie. He turns around and eats an elbow to the face.
Bro,
Dave
moving
whips
like a
out his
ninja
knife
for
and
real.
starts swinging like a madman.
Has-
Nah, that shit got him wobbly. He tries to come back, but Mac grabs his arm and flips him on his face.
Ooh.
Nah, where's he getting these moves? Smackdown. Dave slices him in the thigh, then rocks his shit.
WrestleMania.
But McCall ate that shit like, because he slices his arm, grabs him, and then just flips him over his shoulder. Now, how much does Dave weigh? Because that was just disrespectful. They both get back up and start going at it. I'm talking knee to knee, bear hugs, kicks, drops. Nah, this was pay-per-view. But McCall lacks and gets put into a headlock. So he pulls the dirtiest move out the book, sticking a finger in the eye. Look at how bad Dave is screaming. He lets go, elbows him, quickly runs and grabs the knife, and then just starts piecing his shit. Nah, then he puts one right to his heart. That one was for Susan. Look at Denzel's face. I'm not even sure if this is acting. He might really feel this way. He sticks the knife out, then cuts this guy's head off. Oh my god. Yeah, he was cooked. He throws him off the edge and...
He cooked. Not even in the water. You fall on pure rock. Pure stone. Pure stones. Anyway, that's an amazing vid, bana. You know, nilianza nikasema I was supposed to be streaming. Black Cape has a relevant every time nataka kuanza movie naanza na streaming na nini ina episode yake. Kung Fu Hustle. Yeah, I'm gonna watch that next time. Oh, my output is low. Why is my output slow? Damn. Damn, son. Anyway, you all know the drill. Niko na watch later bunch nimekuwa nikitaka kuona for the longest time na lazima nimekuwa nikiziignore. Yeah, for I'm gonna watch that. Where's that my watch later list? zenye nimekuwa nilika kitambo hapo, lakini nataka the polygamist vids. Sasa I don't know if you people have been under a rock, but the polygamist nimekuwa ikiongelewa sana hapa hivi online. Kunta with another Kunta reports akitaka ku deep dive polygamist nonsense. Mimi nimekuwa nikiignore for the longest kwa sababu najua ni another thing ni zile propaganda fulani zenye wanataka kupush agenda against gender wars, push agenda wars na agenda wars. Apparently this lady has wrote a book but got rejected, then it got picked up and put on Netflix or something. I don't know the details, but acha tu Kunta tu show sini yeye na amefanya hili sacha hii shughuli. Acha tu show sasa. Why
the polygamist? Kama unaishi chini ya mawe, always live under a rock. Maybe hujasikia kuhusu hii movie ama sijui ni series inaitwa sijui The Polygamist. Personally, mimi sija watch na sidhani nita watch. Lakini kama umewatch, that's none
of his business, which is also none of my business. Cause nilikuwa kuna story niliona hapo Reddit,
none of my business. But apparently mademu wengi wamewatch. Na unajua ni aje? Imeanza kuwaonyesha achana na bwana wako. Endo uchunguze boyfriend yako. Your boyfriend has multiple women that he's seeing apart from you. You know how lame you have to be to base your life on fiction. This is not everybody's experience. So fanya hivi kana mimi nikupeleka into details. Tuangalie ni aje manzejo hii movie ina influence manzejo madem mostly.
Na ni mangombe zina.
Don't hate the reporter. Hate the report. I'm Kunta from Kunta Reports. From Kunta TV.
Tulia! Hey besties, tuliangalia hii series inaitwa The Polygamist. Na kama unatafuta a sign, as long as you're a woman.
Hold on. I'm in the wrong scene. This is the right scene. Anaanza kabeji yake kwenye iko, wewe mbona unakosa kabeji zangu kwenye iko? We move on.
Sijui kwa nini haujaenda kuangalia hii series.
What do you mean? So huyu madam anaambia
mzaki hapo
madem wengine kama unatafuta a sign to live your marriage, kama unatafuta a sign to live your boyfriend, go and watch this series of people acting, people playing characters. Kama unatafuta a sign to apply in your personal life, go and watch this series.
Some BS for real.
Because you should be watching it. Jonasi. Oh, jamani, this guy. If I count the time is nafanya what? Sijui ni how many times nimefanya kwa sababu this movie will move you from here to here.
Yeah.
Before kundo ubonge. Point ya udem ni Amoge kutuambia nini? I don't know. Siski points. Siski synopsis. Unaona yana nini anafanyanga? What's its name? I forget. Kenyan loser. I don't know. I keep forgetting his YouTube name. Anapatia synopsis, anapatia character breakdowns, alafu anaanza ku complain about it. Where is the character analysis? Kazi tuzo
Hiyo series imefanya kazi ilikuwa ifanye. Ilikuwa influence ladies. Waone manzejo hawataipata a loyal person like me. Ukiniangalia kama me, I'm very loyal.
Yesu Kristo. Joyce is a very strong woman. Alikuwa anazidi ku take all of that. Yes, she was crazy, but she had all the rights. Kuwa that crazy. Kwa sababu you cannot be doing to me all that. Alafu you think mimi I'll just be laughing. What? No. I'm glad and I'm happy she did what she did.
Na sasa kwanza tuanze sasa kuchambua tujue kwanza hii series kwanza inahusiana na nini. So apparently The Polygamist, it is about a guy called Jonasi. Hizi ni vitu mimi nimesikia. So huyu Jonasi ukicheki kwenye screen akona kipara yake safi nini. Hata nisongeshe hii hapa ndo tuone vizuri. Acha tusongeshe hapa ndio tuone vizuri, si ndio? So Jonasi ni jamaa fulani manzejo.
have been the one.
Okay, Jonasi ni jamaa fulani manzejo, ako na pesa, ako na pake. Jonasi ako na power.
Isi ni ile story fulani ya Egonga Ebang of Igiturulgini. Ujama. Isi ni ile tu story ujama udema ameweka into fiction alafu ikaekwa Netflix. Si ni hiyo story. So kuna mtu mwenye anashinanga mjengo anataka kuharibiwa ndoa kwa sababu jamaa mwenye ako na pesa mwenye hadi exist na ni fictional ameharibia what? Mambo mingi.
Unajua tena mademu wengi in this generation ama hata si this generation, mademu wengi wanatafuta vitu kama hizo. They don't care wewe ni ongura. Ndio mimi nawaambianga hata ukue sura mbaya aje na uko na pake utaikosa mpoa. Wewe dhani bila kuchocha. Acha sasa tusikie hii kitu ni kuhusu nini.
Making the choices. But the women around him were enablers.
Okay.
Welcome to the Middles. His wife knew there were other women. The other women knew he had a wife and often knew about each other. Yet instead of walking away, many continued competing for a man.
Huja mapia mwingine ako hapa hivi. Okay, si ati nachukia commentary because somebody has to do it. These lessons are flani za blame A, blame B, blame B, blame A. Everybody is to blame. Jonasi na kichwa yake, haezi eka kitu yake kwa mfuko, aipelekeangi bibi yake peke yake hawezi. He has blame. Hawa wasichana wenye wanapenda kupeleka mzigo yao kwa watu wenye wanajua wako na bibi pia wanafaa wablemiwe. Kila mtu mwenye alitengeneza hii movie pia yeye anafaa blemiwe. Sisi mwenye tumekaa hapa hivi tunasikiza hii upuzi pia sisi tunafaa tu blemiwe. Yaani blame everybody, blame society. Mimi na blame society. Anyway, moving on. Ni screen gani zikuunda tunasema tukae wapi hapo?
Who had already shown a pattern of divided loyalty.
Yeah. What is wrong? Ni ladies na mnasemanga you should just walk away. Mbona mademote hawaku walk away? Na walikuwa wanajua huyu jamaa ni jamaa fulani anapenda tena kupeana tena mamiti kila kona. Anapenda kupanda miti kila mahali. Mbona mademo hakumtoka? Ndio mlikuwa the enablers.
Exactly.
Hivyo ndo anajaribu kusema.
Exactly.
They fought for emotional battles with one another, each trying to prove that she was the one who mattered most. One claimed the legal title of wife. Another celebrated having him for now. Another one believed that she could change him completely. In the process, they sometimes hurt each other way more than they held Jonasi accountable.
Inakuwa vita.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. Nyi mademote mko na type moja. Nyinyi wote mnataka a certain person, mnataka a certain man. So this man has options.
Akona options.
So kama unataka ukue na jamaa wako peke yako, usiende mwenye mademo anataka wengi. Juu tena huyo jamaa ako na options. So utachezwa, upendo usipendo utachezwa. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say to you, but it's up to you. Okay? It's up to you.
Bana kunda. Hiki kitu inafaa kwa 20 minutes kweli. Zamani.
The tragedy is that they were all seeking validation from the same source. A man who consistently showed he was unwilling to choose one path. Some begged him to stay. Some forgave repeated betrayals. And some accepted less than they deserved because they hoped things would eventually change. Jonasi benefited from this competition as long as the women were focused on winning against each other.
Kilifani ni apparently kuna mmoja mama anai-explain hapa hivi hata nina kama naielewa. Apparently venye huyu jamaa anai-explain na venye anai-explain hapa. Hawa say wote walikuwa wanajua Jonasi ako na wasichana wengine kama 12. Whatever number it is. Sasa kama 12. Wote wanajua wenzake wana exist. So wanakimbizana wenyewe kwa wenyewe instead of kuacha huyu jamaa muende mtafute jamaa mwingine mwenye ako na pesa. Kwani Let me chill.
Really hard to face the full consequences of his actions.
Yeah, it is because
Wait.
Jonasi alikuwa na options. Jonasi alikuwa na options. Na saa ingine madem amkwagi independent thinkers because what do you mean? You have to see another woman liking another man for you to like that man. I don't get it.
Kwani nyinyi mapunda mnafuatana?
Sijapata hiyo logic. Unafaa kuona
Hakuna
huyu
logic
dem
hapo.
ndio upende huyu boy, anafaa kupendwa na dem mwingine. Alafu unakuja kucomplain.
Bado untapped method. Just be seen with a beautiful girl who likes you, not likes you, like have a home girl who's an 8 out of 10 or above. Guaranteed. It is the freest game I will ever tell anybody to have. Unanipata tunadobli na mademo warembo tu ama nini. Oh, for some reason you increase your value. I have no idea why it works. I don't know why this is a logic that they follow or lack thereof, but guaranteed it works. Mentality ya sijui niliona ule huyu akona mtu so hadi mimi namtaka.
Huyu jamaa hayuko loyal. Lakini sasa utaenda kwa huyu jamaa udhani unaweza mchange. Na ashakuonyesha tabia zake. Ashakuonyesha yeye ni mpeana mamiti kila kona.
Sorry, nataka make point. Jamaa mwingine mzae hapo hivi atasikia dema anasemaje.
Whether you are a side chick, whether you are married, whether you are a slay queen, whether wanaume wanavukana wote.
Na
sasa huyu anasema nini? Ati whether you are a side chick. Sasa whether you are a side chick already number 1 uko in the wrong place. You are not even the right place. Number 2, whether you are married, si ndio ya kila mtu akona igonga hapa hivi. Igonga 2.0. Number 3, udem akae kama akona mzee. I'm gonna say it. Akae akona mzee. Guaranteed a baby mama of 2 kids. Guaranteed. I am willing to bet one of my strands of my hair to about on that.
Na. So nacheki hii series imeanza sasa kwa influence. Imeanza sasa kwa influence.
I feel like these points zote zitakuwa tu the same. Oh, madam this, madam that, wala. Nasikumza yasemaji. Ne. Doesn't matter. But can nilipata nayo interesting hapa hivi. Ni pale Reddit kuna dem fulani, kuna jamaa fulani sikani uzuri wa Reddit ndio hangana nini, hangana anonymous. Sasa unaona mimi sija sign in ndio msijue, inaanga anonymous. Talking about some kuna akona ni I don't know how I feel about it. Let me reread again. Okay. Economics of modern romance assets versus appetite. Let's strip away the social media outrage and look at the raw math of human nature, which is looking into the breakdown of morals. It's perfectly balanced market of evolution and psychology of pragmatism. So, here's the unfiltered reality of how resource-rich dynamics actually play out. Number 1, the hypergamous trade-off. Hypergamy isn't a new trend, it's a nation survival strategy of the luxury age economic system, blah 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 blah. The male capital, finance, leverage, elite status and glamorous lifestyle. The female capital, aesthetic value, youth and access. The man's boundaryless appetite meets a woman calculated desire for upward mobility. It's not a tragedy, it is a completed transactional. Neither side is blindfolded, they are simply trading off. Sasa, it is a trade-off. Kila mtu anajua kile anafanya. The hypergamous trade-off. Hypergamy ni mambo ya fulani, yes. You know dem fulani anakuwa you side chick this, side chick that, side whatever, man. That one. This is the reality that is the third reality that is existing in today's world, this day and age. Number 1. Number 2, the logic behind the status symbol. Herikulia kwenye Range Rover kuliko kucheka kwenye Wayscale is the ultimate thesis statement of pragmatism. For a woman in Joyce's position, a marriage certificate to a tycoon and corporate is a corporate merger, not just a love story. Walking away via divorce means downsizing her lifestyle and relinquishing her societal rank. Sasa optics. But unasamanga hii town unaishingi na optics. If people think or see you as successful, the more successful you're going to be. If you lose that, you lose even more. Unageti. Aye. And good. To her, sharing the throne in a palace, which makes infinitely more sense than having exclusive rights to a studio apartment. I don't know the logic of that, but I can't under the magnetism of high status. If today Atuoli was to add another wife, thousands of women will turn up at Kotu headquarters showcasing what their mama gave them, with hope of catching Atuoli's eye. High power and wealthy operate on an entirely different playing field because power is a massive aphrodisiac. Society can preach this ideal tradition of monogamy all day, but the reality is that a significant portion of the dating pool are willingly to accept a fractional share of a high status value man over total ownership of a broke faithful one. Let that sit down for a minute. So people love to express moral shock in public, but behind closed doors, human behavior defaults to incentives when one party's material ambition perfectly intercedes with another's physical appetite. Traditional romance takes a backseat and mutually beneficial agreement is an ancient script rewritten in modern luxury, and as long as resources remain concentrated at the top, the queue is willing participants will always never be shorten, will never shorten. Sasa people are willing and able. Hakuna watu wache kujifanya tio men this, men that, men this, men that, men this, men that, men this, men that. Mademu walikuwa wanataka hiyo doyo huyo jamaa. Huyo jamaa alikuwa greedy fuck bana. Angeweza kuweka pipe yake kwa freezer for like a whole week. Kazi tu ni kuenda kupanda kuingia huku kuingia kule kuingia huku kuingia kule kuingia huku kuingia huku. I believe this is not constructive criticism. It's just shedding light on the realities. Hii public outrage yenye watu wako nayo it makes sense. Hii public outrage yenye watu wako nayo randomly yenye hadi isaidii mtu yoyote. I make sense in the slightest. People are just being mad and talking points ya watu wenye wanataka kuongelea social media, wenye wanataka kusaidia men na wanataka kusaidia women. Shut up, talking points. Just blame the people because hakuna main characters hapa by the way. Kila mtu polygamy inakuwa tu ya social media by the way. Mimi kwenye nafikiria hivyo. Polygamy inakuwa tu ya social media. Itaje monogamy inakuwa tu social media na kuja kutuambia hapo hivi na kuya mdomo, lakini the moment wewe mwenye the author wa hii script amesema poa. This is rare. This is squeezing those zinasonga zimejaa substack. Na kwanza zimejaa substack chat. Na kwanza zimejaa substack. Sasa for whatever reason wanting us to convince that nini kwa demo yanless you kama wewe ni side chick kama wewe ni side chick na bwana hadi unajua uko nyuko hapo na dunia. Sasa kama wewe ni mwenye kazi yako tu ni kupanda tu miti kila mahali pia wewe unajua kile unafanya. Mkianza if you make choices, be willing to suffer the consequences of your choices. Sima nenda kuja kutushautia hapa hivi online. Na hiyo ndio nimefunga hiyo story hapa. I don't think I need more energy to spend or mental bandwidth to spend on this bullshit. Sasa unaona sasa wapuzi ndio hao watu wenye naongelelea, watu wenye tusaidiani hii town. At no head to anyone, but anyone does not interested in the freaking series muone mnyamaze ama. This is the point of social media. We have social discussion and have social comment. Anti-intellectualism. Hii ndio tulisema tunapigana in the big 26. This is dumb. In fact kwanza kama uko na nini? Indoje? Kama uko na Reddit na indo mindset uko nayo. Delete hii app, rudi TikTok. Huko ndo unataka waste time and waste time huko by the way. Just saying. Oh, this is an interesting comment. You know, when I started seeing all the hype around the polygamies, I knew it was some bullshit, and now my views have been confirmed before because anyone who says anything, I'm not talking about the acting, cinematography, anything talking about the premise, not a single soul over 12 in the country does not already powerful rich folk blah 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 groundbreaking. Point mzuri sana. Nobody is talking about the cinematography, sijui shots, sijui acting ya nani ilikuwa fiti. All they know is cheating and being cheated on. That is enough. I don't have the mental capacity nor the mental bandwidth to talk about this anymore. It was an agenda and a distraction. An agenda and a distraction. By the way, finance bill ilipita as if you've forgotten. Anyway, have a nice day. Ciao. I'm trying to be what I'm destined to be. Hii maneno ya polygamist nimefungia hapo kwanza chat. Si mchezo. Nisunde hii kitu huko. I have my kuna mfanya kazi safi. Anafanya kazi safi by the way. I'ma go ahead and leave him a like. Kwa kazi yake safi. Boom. Done. Wacha ni comment zake za comments zake za nini zinasemaje. Peer pressure has nothing on me, siwezi watch. Nice. Ulipeleka hapo uniform. The movie didn't move anybody. The film is for Randy Mears. Watu wameboeka wana mama. What the fuck, peer pressure si yangu. Kipara yake ni safi. What people should know that series is created to push a certain agenda, and with that being principled in life kubobwanazo ni rahisi. Exactly bro. Amua we stream tuka watch ndio show tuchambue vizuri. Wataka kupiga copyright brody. Wataka kupiga copyright zingine safi. I mean, si vitu zingine si lazima tukaitishe chini tusikize tuongelele bana. Hii movie ilikuja na agenda. It should be banned. Moving on. Scene. What do I want to see? Ooh, another Kenyan told stories of Moha graphics. The man that does wall art.
Nadhani the
Kunda. Si mambo yako tushafunga. Tupata next week na video yako nyingine mpya. So, the hidden struggles of Moha graphics, Matatu culture, the king of graffiti and design. Yo thumbnail ilikuwa inafanya ni feel ni kama ujamaa na making 200. There's no way ana making 200 kwa kufanya hii shughuli yake safi. Shughuli safi. There's no way ana making 200. Mimi mwenyewe ni convince. Haizi kwa anatengeneza 200. 200 tu. Let me see. Boom. Hakuna. Play.
Hi, we are all culprits of looking back at beautiful things, and especially if the said things are a good assembly of Matatu art. What we are not culprits of is wondering how they came to be or the personalities behind them. One of the said personalities is Mohammed Katarchant, or popularly known as Moha Graphics. Moha had a humble beginning, working as a regular hardware salesman and performing very poorly due to a severe case of misplaced passion. In his mind, he wanted to pursue art, not even knowing which type of art, but art. So he took his sweet time drawing sketches in his work diary. Drawings he really wished would come to life one day, he just did not have an idea when.
Because my diary was full of drawings. Even you can see if I open my books, they are full of just drawings.
Sooner or later, his boss noticed that his work drive was lower than...
Akona pure grills.
And our will to live after every finance bill. And he was given his salary of 4,500 shillings and let go.
one day boss yangu akanitisha diary yangu. Sasa kuchukua diary yangu akiangalia kama nimeandika ma customers, ma contacts, kufungua naona tu nimechora. Sasa mdosi kuangalia diary yangu naona nachora, anauliza hii ndio kitu unajua? Nikamwambia ndio mimi naweza fanya. Akaniambia basi fanya.
Ulikuwa unachora nini kwa hiyo notebook yako ukienda kwa client?
Nilikuwa na sometimes nilikuwa na nilikuwa salesman sana, natembea tu na mguu. So nilikuwa nakaa chini mahali stage, mtu akipita naangalia shati amevaa hiyo design, naanza kuidraft. Mara kidogo naweza ona mtu amepita au gari imepita, ni chore hiyo gari alafu niweke design juu.
He's an artist, bro. He's an artist. Oh, pure artist. Kwani bidhe chachi linakuanga bado? Inakuanga bado. Sijui ama ni juzi yonange TV, sijui ama inakuanga hizo shows inakuanga kweli bado kweli chat.
At home, he began majoring on the ever so low-key disrespectful stickers either you and your parents have interacted with in matatus.
1991
we have to read this. We have to. Zinakuanga hapo hivyo za nini? Tukae chini tusisome. Ama namna gani? Lazima tusome wall art stickers. Ati kama una haraka shuka ukimbie. Akili mjini, nguvu peleka kijijini. Itaona na yako tuna hapa. Sasa Kanya mkeo pikipiki sio yangu. What even does that even mean? Misjui inamaanisha nini? Kanya mkeo pikipiki sio yangu, what? Ila si funny. Kama kunichukia ndio dawa itabidi jitahidi umalize dose.
Stickers either you and your parents have interacted with in matatu.
Kama kuna haraka show kimbini nimewasoma. Kama hujanunua hapa usikulie hapa. Kwa mfano ndizi, miwa, njugu, chips, my boil, cold, stroke hot. What the hell even is a cold dog? Unajua hizi stickers zingine mwenye. Who is the person that is creating, printing and making these things? We need to find that person and slap him. Hii maneno kunitusitusi kama sina fare, sijui. Karawa lipe gari. Dawa ya deni ni kulipa, si kubadilisha njia. Kuna mtu anakopanga gari barabara ya lami. But then anatengeneza hizi stuff. Hizi stuff unajua imefika mahali sasa unaona tu zimetengenezwa zimebandikwa kwa gari. Well, si gari zote, gari zote zinakuanga na hizi sticker. But we need to find out whoever is in charge of making these things. But see funny. Is another see funny.
1991 I used to make those small stickers for matatus inside, like if the music's too loud.
Kumeni moha ni wewe unafanyanga hii kazi. Wewe waacha wewe. Wewe moha bana, zingine bana hadi zibambi jamani. Kuna zingine zinakuwa tu bangers. Kuna matatu nyingine man nilipandanga tu nikasikia kulimlipa ilikuwa gari mati ya 30 nikasikia kumlipa 40.
When you're too old, if something is too hot, those small slogans we used to put those days.
Around 1999, he went to a nearby garage where he met a friend who needed his vehicle decorated, and so he was given the job.
So kuna mdosi fulani nishamfanyia job, akaniona akaniambia, "Moha, unafanya nini hapa?" Nikamwambia, "Sikizi nachora ma3." Akaniambia, "Unachora ma3?" Na sijui. Sijawahi hata gusa matatu hivi body kuchora. Akaniambia, "Kama mna gari yangu hapa." Akanionyesha ma3 ndio hii. Sasa unajua wakati hizo ma design walikuwa wafanya vitu zile tunafanya sasa hivi.
Walikuwa wafanya vitu extreme, walikuwa wanaguza.
So niko na tu watu wanafanya hivi, niko na mtu anaweka tape, mwingine anakata sticker. Uzuri hiyo gari ilikujafikia maana ya kupigwa rangi. So I had like 2 days kuzunguka pale kuna what do people do. So me kuona niko na I can do better.
As his first independent job, he gave it everything he got, which then turned out to be a smoking disaster. The owner was so frustrated that his work had to be rubbed off of the vehicle, and for that, he was on
Bro thought this was gonna be a movie. Ati sasa nimeenda nikaona wametrace hivi nini. Nikapiga shughuli and I lived happily ever after. No, welcome back to reality jamani.
Paid nothing.
It was not that good because ilifutwa, because haikutokea poa. Mwenyewe alijam. Karibu hata nirudi home nikilia nikiambia sistangu ile gari nimechora imefutwa.
He then went from garage to garage looking for work. At this point, he already knows nothing about the job, but he desperately needs it.
So hivyo tu pole pole nikakuwa natembea na bagi yangu, nazunguka tu kwa magarage.
As luck would have it, a friend called him to his garage and told him that his usual designer was away for some reason.
Damn.
And again, he was given a bus to work on.
Nashukuru Mungu kapata na mzee fulani hapo California. Garage moja ilikuwa inaitwa Intersport, mzee Kabodi. Akaniambia kuja ndakupatia job hapa. Gule jamaa alikuwa anaweka tinta hapo nini aliendaga.
He showed up to the scene trembling with fear of losing yet again.
Nikaingia hapo sana tetemeka. Nakwambia tunaingia kwa gate nashikilia gate nikaa nataka kuteleza. Sasa nimejiingiza mahali siwezi. Sasa kuingia akaniambia gari yangu ndio hii. Sasa nataka kesho ukuje tukoroge rangi. Sijui kukoroga rangi. Na nataka unichore design. Nikamwambia design ngoja ndakuletea. Nikamtolea diary imejaa design yangu ya salesman. Nikamwambia chagua tu hapa. Akaangalia akaniambia hii. Sasa mimi naona hii amenionyesha. Sasa mimi najua kuchora kwa karatasi nitaiwekaje kwa gari.
According to interviews, it took him 2 weeks just to decide what he would do with the vehicle and 1 month just to get the job right through trial and error.
It took me like a whole month, 2 weeks thinking how I'm going to draw a whole circle.
Wow.
But ideas ikakam nikafanya. Ilikuwa poa vile.
His much-awaited breakthrough came in 2004 when he worked on a 14-seater matatu known as Ganja Farm, on which he did a couple of things, including installing huge rear wheels that raised the vehicle some kind of way. It became an instant hit.
Hiyo Ganja Farm.
So Mohando alianzisha hii trend ya hizi mambo Kenya tu zimeinua haga juu. Okay. You have to respect the art. You have to respect the influential art that changes the scene. You have to respect it.
Ilikuwa vijana wa Hindi. Hiyo job ilikuwa patiwa mtu mwingine. But mimi sasa huyo mtu ni kama alikuwa yuko. Hiyo gari vile nilitengeneza ikakuwa so smart. Alafu hiyo ndo gari ya kwanza niliweka miguu ya nyuma kubwa. That was the first car.
Hiyo gari nakumbuka nikikaa ndani tunaenda town baada nimemaliza. Watu wanasimama, kuna masimu siku hizo ya kamera. Watu wanasimama kustare. Au nilikuwa natetemeka the whole day. Siku imagine hata inaweza fanya kitu kama hiyo.
And that was your breakthrough.
That was my breakthrough.
Unfortunately, the money he earned from the job went back to the sourced equipment and workforce, but he was more than contented with the referrals coming in just from it. And this is when he received an idea to mark his credentials on the vehicles he had worked on.
I remember there's a client who told me, you have to put something so that people can know it's someone else, not the people of the same garage. So I put my name Moha. Instead of Mohammed, I just did it short for Moha. Then he was like, now someone will think he's the owner of the car. So just put something, what you do. So I did the Moha graphics there.
Remember, by this time there were no personal mobiles or emails. The only way people would trace you was by your signature.
Simu ilikuwa ya wadosi. Alafu sasa ndio wakati hiyo ndio sama simu zinaingia, wakati line inauzwa 2500 na credit ya chini kabisa ilikuwa 250. Sasa leo utafoldaje?
Wezi.
And that's how business started coming home instead of looking for it. Sooner or later, he became a nuisance to his neighbors, and so he relocated to a garage in Section 3. Initially, he worked all alone, but later, his business grew to a point where he had over 40 people working for him and over 10 cars every week. That was before COVID-19 at least. In fact, actually COVID gave him the biggest hit. There were no walk-in clients, no bank willing to loan him, and even his landlord in industrial area kicked him out.
It was extremely hard. Alhamdulillah, we went through it, but I really got some really big challenges because I was not here. I was in industrial area. At that time where I used to be, I used to pay a rent, very high rent, and I didn't have job from March, April, May, June. So rent compiled. By July, I was kicked out. I'm still paying the debts till now.
Today, he has become one of the most prominent designers in matatu culture, working on cars, buses, motorcycles, helmets, everything, and has trained at least 200 people over the years. Currently, he markets himself through social media posts and referrals from satisfied customers. And with that, he leaves us with an advice.
So mimi naambia vijana, sasa hii kila mtu anaenda kazi, nataka kazi, hakuna. Nataka hii, hakuna. What do you do? Think of what you can do. Mtaani watu wanapenda nini? KDF. Enda kwa bakery, itisha KDF, anza kuzungusha. Hiyo kuzungusha kwa KDF, ndio kuja kumit the right person, ule atakupatia breakthrough.
Chat W Moha bana. Chat W Moha. was peak. That was peak. Huh? That was peak though. I won't even lie. That was peak. W Moha. Cause hizi manganyo alianzisha yeye among the few people alianzisha hizi stuff to a point that sasa imekuwa a whole thing in itself. Yeah. Landmark. Everybody knows that we have walking clubs on the road. W Moha. Like that video. Move on. Next. The 17 anime studios explained. 17 anime studios explained. Do I watch that? I feel like nimeka kufanya anime content. Do I watch the 17 anime studios explained? Yes, I'm gonna watch the 17 anime studios explained. Unexplained videos. You know those white ones? Yes, sir. Ina lot pole pole. Lazima lot pole pole. Alafu sini unifanyie mambo hapa.
All 17 of the main different anime studios explain.
Hold on. Najua hujafika bandwidth ya kutosha. Boost kidogo. Hapo. Sema hapo. Hapo. Anywho. What am I looking for again? Yeah, that. 17 anime studios explained. That is the beat. Toei Animation is gonna be
all 17 of the main different anime studios explained in chronological order, starting off with the oldest anime studio that is still running today, Toei Animation, that was founded in
Somebody explain to me why. Can somebody please explain to me why Toei Animation still has terrible pacing for One Piece? Nah.
1948. They're best known for One Piece, Dragon Ball, Slam Dunk, and a bunch of other iconic animes. It's safe to say that they are a massive studio who have helped bring a lot of anime to the West and sometimes even considered the Disney of the East. However, the downside to their massive size and just being around for so long is that they take on loads of different anime projects, and then
they end up being trash.
That often hurts the animation quality, meaning that it's often a mixed bag. I mean, you just have to look at One Piece. Sometimes it's peak.
Sometimes it's the most diabolical thing with the most laziest animation you've ever seen.
And then other times it looks like this. But with
is it big projects when you wanna outsource animators when you're freelancing out? Hizo ndo tunaonga peak. The people that are actually employed at Toei have no soul for the projects, man.
So many like long-running massive shows, their reputation cannot be understated.
Toei Animation is the Disney.
And also what is cool is that unlike a lot of anime studios, they're actually unionized, which means that compared to most, the working experience is actually pretty good. Next is Madhouse, one of the most respected anime studios for producing so many high quality anime. For example, they've made Death Note, the first season of One Punch Man, the most recent version of Hunter x Hunter, Hajime no Ippo, and most recently, Frieren. One of the main reasons for their growth was because one of their co-founders and later president, Masaru Maruyama, had a great eye
Masaru Maruyama is the literal
talent,
he's the literal god of animation. He has worked for, I don't think he's worked for Toei, I'm not sure. He's worked for a company that has been there, the company that did Astro Boy.
That Madhouse was able to work with some elite anime directors such as Satoshi Kon, Marumu Usoda, and Masasaki Yusa. However, in 2010, Maruyama, now in his 70s, left to make Mappa because it seemed that he wanted more creative freedom, and he took a bunch of key staff with him as well. This did hurt Madhouse but they still drop free run, and I mean that anime is complete peak. It looks so sick, so I'm guessing that they're doing fine, to be fair. However, in terms of workplace conditions, Madhouse has been known to overwork their animators, unfortunately, like a lot of
Training has no notes.
anime studios that we're going to find out in this video as well. Moving on, we have Sunrise. Now, like Madhouse,
Studio Madhouse is working people more than Mappa. I cannot believe that, man. Why did loading now? It's not like I need these videos to be go on YouTube and need highest quality.
they were also founded in 1972, and
to do that?
they have also completely changed the game.
Madness. So he's trolling me. It's not that it's the network is the problem. The computer literally just wants to troll me.
Of anime. Before Sunrise, anime was often produced by just the main creator of the manga or one studio who would invest everything and take the complete risk to produce the anime. But Sunrise pushed a producer-led model where multiple companies would invest, spreading the financial risk to produce a certain anime. Their first big success was Mobile Suit Gundam in 1979, where they went on to drop other classics such as Cowboy Bebop, Gintanama, and Code Geass. They're also known for great animation, and they have the coldest nickname, which is Sunrise Smooth, which that's just the best nickname. Similar to Toei, they are another massive anime studio, and therefore their quality can be varied because they just have so many different teams working on so many different projects. But when they do put the time and the money and their best teams to it, they really can cook some amazing visuals. Also, their workplace culture does seem to be pretty good compared to a lot of other anime studios. Studio Pierrot was also founded in 1972, meaning that 3 massive anime studios were all formed in
Studio Pierrot. The most diabolical studio out there. More diabolical than Mappa. You have to
this year. Their first big success was in 2002 when they dropped one of my personal favorite animes of all time, Naruto, but then they followed this up with Bleach and Black Clover. And as a result, their reputation, especially to create amazing shonens, is up there with the GOATs. Studio Pierrot, like a lot of older anime studios, is so massive, so again, like how I said before, the same thing applies here where the animation quality can vary a lot. But as we've seen, you know, if you've watched Naruto or Bleach, some of the episodes are peak. And also special shout out, they also made Boruto, which I'm not a big fan of, but Sasuke and Naruto vs Moshiki fight has to be up there, one of the
I don't know who was paid to do this. I hope that man retires and gets to live the best life he will ever live. And get
greatest anime fights I've ever seen. And also what's kind of cool is that in terms of working conditions, their managing director Kiyomo Utsumi recently came out and said that they have increased their overtime pay by 20% and they recognize that animators are not just computers and that they need rest, which seems like obviously common knowledge, but in the anime industry this is actually very rare for one of the managing directors to actually come out and acknowledge this, and hopefully they'll lead by example and influence other anime studios to do the same. Next is Studio Gainax, which was formed in 1984 and only a couple years later had their breakout anime Gunbuster, a mecha anime. But they then went on to blow that completely out of the park, releasing Neon Genesis and Evangelica, one of the biggest animes of all time, that literally revolutionized just how popular merchandise could be.
I have never heard of this today before just because I have never watched Neon Genesis. I will. Not yet though.
And honestly just became a massive part of pop culture in Japan. And from there they went on to make other popular anime such as Fooly Cooly and Gurren Lagann. They're also infamous for what is known as a Gainax ending, which is when a show ends weirdly or abruptly. You'll notice if you've watched some of the animes that I mentioned. However, in 2019 their former president, Tohiro Maki, was arrested for sexual assault of a teenager. They were also reported
he's a weirdo.
corruption of funds, and in May 2024, Gainax filed for bankruptcy, ending this once great studio. Now, arguably the anime studio with the most distinctive style and widely best known is Studio Ghibli. This is because only 2 animes have ever won an Oscar, and these were Spirited Away and The and the Heron, both of which are made by Ghibli. That is some aura. In 1985, Hayao Miyazaki and Isao Takahata both left Toei Animation and joined up with Toshio Suzuki to make Ghibli. Now, what's interesting about Ghibli is that they're different from most anime studios and that they predominantly make movies instead of animated TV shows. This is because they want to have amazing visuals, which I don't know if you watched any of their work, but that'd be impossible to do that with something like a weekly anime series.
Studio Ghibli has amazing movies and the attention to detail that goes into every eyelash or grass.
If you've also ever watched a Ghibli movie, you'll know that their visuals are extremely distinctive to them, and that is because they use even more hand-drawn animations compared to most studios, with even more incredibly detailed backgrounds and just assets. It just gives this super unique look that I'm personally a massive fan of. Kyoto Animation, or how it's commonly known,
something to add about Studio Ghibli. Any point in any Studio Ghibli movie, you can pause it, screenshot it, and use it. The wallpaper, guaranteed. I can put my dress on the line of that one.
Known as KyoAni, was founded in 1985 by a married couple, Yoko and Hideaki Hata. KyoAni first built its reputation by doing high-quality support work for other studios, and then gradually moved into producing their own major anime, with its biggest hits being Violet Evergarden and Free. What's super cool about them is that they built a reputation for being the golden standard of world culture while still having great high-level animation. This is largely because KyoAni hosts the Kyoto Animation Awards, which ranks them on 3 categories: novels, manga, and scenarios. And then the winners, or the best ones, they then get made into anime, with KyoAni licensing them, meaning that they get a much larger portion of the profits compared to other animation studios. And then with this money, they're able to have full-time salaried employees compared to most animators by other anime studios just getting paid as freelancers. However, tragically, in 2019, KyoAni's #1 studio was attacked by an arsonist. The attack killed 36 people and injured more than 30 others. And in January 2024, the arsonist was sentenced to the death sentence for the attack. And it came out that his motive was believed to be revenge because he claimed that KyoAni had stolen some of his work, which was never proven to be true. However, fortunately, the studio has begun to bounce back, with it releasing anime such as Box of Tomorrow and City the Animation since then. Next, we have Production IG, which was founded in 1987 by Mitsushi Izukawa and Takayuki Goto. And that is where the IG in the name comes from. I for Izukawa and G for Goto. Their biggest standing point was when they released Ghost in the Shell, which came out in 1985 and was directed by Marumu Oshii. It quickly became one of the most influential anime films ever made and helped them find the cyberpunk anime genre and influence Western sci-fi so much that it was actually attributed to influencing The Matrix. Since then, they've gone to make both Haikyuu and Kuroko no Basket, 2 of the most goated sports animes of all time, with Haikyuu single-handedly raising Japanese volleyball to new heights. They also own Wit Studio as a subsidiary. These are guys who made AOD and Season 1 of Vinland Saga, who I'll get onto soon.
They are subsidiaries. They own Wit Studio. Oh.
Before that, I need to talk about JC Stuff. These guys kind of have a reputation, if I'm being honest, of being a budget anime studio. The most infamous of this is because they did the most recent series of One Punch Man and the last season, and I'm sure if you've been online, you're aware that they're getting flamed for having predominantly PNG animation. To be fair, it didn't help that Season 1 was done by Madhouse, who I mentioned, who are known for having amazing animation, so the contrast made it just even worse. And you know, like I said, Madhouse have been up for so long, they have have a much bigger budget and they can attract elite animators. I do want to preface this by saying I'm not trying to shit on JC staff. I'm sure that they're all super good at what they do. It's more so that JC staff, just as a philosophy, the higher ups believe that it's better to produce a shit ton of anime, and therefore as a result obviously the quality is not going to be amazing most of the time. They kind of have the much more quantity over quality approach to making anime. However, in stark contrast to this is Studio Bones, which was formed in 1998 by former Sunrise staff members and quickly became known for specializing in amazing fight scenes, and that's a reputation that has stayed with them to the present day. His first big hit was Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which is one of my favorite animes of all time, and then from there they went on to do My Hero Academia and Mob Psycho, which again, if you watch them shows, you know that some of the scenes in those shows is just incredible. But arguably an anime studio with even more iconic animation quality for fight scenes is Ufotable. They were formed just in the year 2000 by Hikoraku Kondo, and they first gained traction working with the game company Type Moon, where they adapted their games into animes such as the Fate series and Guardian of Sinners. However, their big break was in 2019 with Demon Slayer, which became an instant hit, especially for its crazy level of animation. They then released Demon Slayer.
Ufotable, where's my movie at? I've been waiting for too long. Where's that part 2? Where's the part 2 at? Where's the part 2 at? Where the part 2 at? Can you do like a sneak peek? Like it's taking too long, man. I need me. My fix. I need my fix. I need me my fix. Ufotable. Where's my animation? Where's the next part at? Where's the next movie? Drop the next movie. Can you like push it to a month earlier or something? I don't know. Like, well, let's work something out, man. I need me more Demon Slayer. No, I'm kidding. You take your sweet time and make it the most peak of peak. I do not want Solo Leveling to win another animation of the year.
Mugen Train movie, which became one of the most successful anime films ever and grossed over $512 million, becoming the highest grossing film of 2020 globally. That is insane. And I mean, on the topic of Ufotable, I have to give a special mention to the Demon Slayer explosion from the last season. I have never seen an explosion done so well in anime.
Was that CGI?
The reason how they're able to do this is because the studio has a strong emphasis on digital composition, unlike other studios, and that gives Demon Slayer a unique, polished, glossy, and just expensive feel, almost like it's a live action blockbuster shot with anime characters. A1 Pictures was founded on May 2005 by Mikuro Iwata, a former Sunrise producer. It was also created by Aniplex, which is part of Sony Music Entertainment Japan, meaning that A1 had a powerful corporate backing from the start. They quickly became known for being very versatile, but also having varying anime quality. Some of their best stuff includes Sword Artwork Online and of course Solo Leveling, but they're kind of like JC staff to my understanding in that they put out a shit ton of anime, and this means that not a lot of them get the love that these mangas deserve. Unfortunately as well, they also have one of the worst reputations in terms of workplace conditions. Tragically, a 28-year-old who worked there for 3 years and then left, only a year later died for suicide. And then in 2014, Japanese labor authorities recognized the death as work-related, saying that excessive workload contributed to his depression, and reported that he'd worked over 600 hours in 1 month, and that overtime was not properly managed. Now, 8-Bit was founded in 2008, and they
I'm not just gonna hear that and ignore it. The fact that somebody just worked 600 hours in 1 month. What is calculator? Calculator. 6,000. Wait. Where's the delete? 6,000 divided by 30 days gives me around, that doesn't seem right. 200 days, what? No, something ain't right. Let me see. 600 hours divided by, it's supposed to be times. times 24. No. What is GMath? 600 hours divided by 30. 20 hours a day. Bro is working like me, except for the fact that I'm not hardworking. I'm working. I'm not hardworking. I'm not hardworking. I'm hardly working. Ugh, lost aura for that one. Definitely lost aura. Bro was working 20 hours a day for 30 days straight. That's insane.
Best known for Blue Lock, and I got reincarnated as a slime. If you've seen Blue Lock, you know that when they put the budget in, they can cook. I mean, that last episode was insane.
They condensed the entire budget into one episode. You cannot make this stuff up.
But when they don't, it's bad. I mean, if you watched most
PNG
of
Lock.
the season 2 of Blue Lock, though,
PNG Lock, these people are not moving. This is just one drawn picture.
apart from that last episode, you'll know that it was on par with PNG animations from the recent season of One Punch Man. So yeah, I'm praying that they give time and money towards the next season of Blue Lock, but this is a reason why they ought to have a very mixed reputation as an animation studio, with them being able to produce absolute peak and stinkers. Moving on, we have MAPPA, one of the most well-known animation studios today. What's surprising is that they actually formed very recently in 2011 by one of the co-founders of Madhouse, as I mentioned, Masao Maruyama, and this meant that they were extremely well connected from the start, and they have grown rapidly since then, working on anime such as Jujutsu Kaisen, Attack on Titan the final season, Chainsaw,
JJK, Studio MAPPA. Where's my second season? Where's my batch 2? Where's my part 2? I need me my idol Death Gamble. Where's that JJK? We can organize the fact that you can give me that JJK early, and then I can sacrifice my hair. That is a willing sacrifice that I'm willing to make. You know, work with me here. Work with me here. MAPPA Studios. Can you release that shit like a week early or something, or maybe a month? No, come on. Work with me here. Work with me. I'm kidding. Take your sweet time. I just need that animation to be crispy.
oh man, Hell's Paradise and Vinland Saga Season 2. I mean, that is a crazy catalogue, especially considering, again, they started in 2011. However, in 2016, Maruyama left and was replaced by Manabu Usoka, and this is where they started to become more of a controversial studio. Despite their amazing quality, the work conditions are just straight up awful. In particular, during season 2 of JJK, there were multiple animators describing the brutal work conditions and their terrible treatment while working on the season. It's a big shame because I love the shows MAPPA makes, but I think we can all agree that we hope the animators get paid more and they just get treated way better. Another studio formed in 2011 was Studio
I want to yap. I need me a background frame or something. Studio Bones. PNG Lock. As an anime fan, I have two very weird, very controversial, I don't know how to put it. I have very controversial. On the one hand, I want my animators to have the best jobs in their life. They get paid enough, they get enough time off, they get to see their families, they get to have lunch breaks, they are paid overtime, you know. It's quick kama story hoja ya fulani mwenye nimesikia na work 600 hours. You know, 600 hours a day is like 600 hours a month is like 20 hours a day, which is insane. That is the one hand. On the second hand, lock those people up because JJK is taking too long. Where is the Cullen Games Part 2? Chad, am I tripping? No? Yes, I'm definitely tripping, but it's the duality. It's the duality. They are human beings, but the work that they are doing, I feel like they need to be locked up a little bit more to get that animation out even faster. Anyway, free my animators though. Mappa, free my animators. Free my animator still is backwards. Shout out Rapsopeti. Anyway, moving on. Studio Bones. Mappa imeisha.
Better. Another studio formed in 2011 was Studio Trigger, which was made by former Gainax staff, the studio that shut down in 2024. Fortunately, Studio Trigger feels like a natural successor to Gainax. It became famous through explosive, over-the-top anime like Killer Killer, Little Witch Academia, and Cyberpunk Edge Runners, earning a reputation as
So Cyberpunk Edge Runners is an anime. Good to know.
as one of anime's most chaotic, but also recognizable studios. Next we have Wit Studio. And this was formed only in 2012, pretty much with the sole purpose of making AOT. And as I mentioned before, they are a subsidiary of Production IG. With their first anime,
the studio was made specifically to make Attack on Titan. Damn, I did not know that.
Being AOT, they were immediately put into the spotlight, but they were also able to branch out after that into other super successful anime such as Vinland Saga Season 1 and Spy Family. And they are even doing the One Piece reboot, shortening the amount of episodes and significantly improving the visuals.
With studios. Dear Wit Studios, I am writing to you this letter all the way from the Big 254. Yeah, everything is not fine here. Kasongo amepitisha the finance bill, but that does not matter. Can I get that wheat piece early? Lazima ningoje baka 2027. You know 2027 is going to be a long year. I will be distracted with wanting to take people home. However, if you are able to organize the way I can watch the wheat piece, even if it's 2 episodes, from August, I will really appreciate it. But if you can push it to December, which is fine, I'm gonna need it to be 6 episodes. All I need from you is to remove and make that shit public, bana. I need to see a trailer or something. Damn, is the picture and anyway, let me trip. Take your sweet time. I do not need the repetition of the way animation to be brought to the slander of the greatest piece of fiction ever written. Thank you. Moving on to the video.
Especially from the earlier arcs. But they have put out a crazy amount of shows to a very high quality in such a short amount of time. So unfortunately, as anime goes, it's no surprise that they also have a very bad reputation for workplace conditions and massively overworking their animators. The newest anime studio, which was formed in 2013, went Science Saru by director Masasaki Yusa and producer Ang Young Choi. Some of their first work was actually an episode on Adventure Time, which makes sense considering that unlike most anime studios, they actually do not really care about the nationality of the anime is, and only really their skill level, and as a result they hire many from different countries. Devilman Crybaby was a massive turning point for them. It was released globally through Netflix and made Science Saru known outside to a much bigger circle of people. If you've seen this show, you know that it is super experimental, which is kind of what they've become known for, with crazy colors and crazy scenes, and that's also reflected in one of their newer animes, Dan the Dan, which I'm super excited for season 3. If you haven't watched it, I'd recommend it. Now, I know this video is titled All 17 Anime Studios Explained, but I just wanted to cover the main ones and the ones that I like. But moving on, if you want to check out every single IRL reference in Jujutsu Kaisen, then click here, and thank you very much for watching.
No, I don't want that. Anyway, I need those studios to be finished with those projects immediately. It'll take too long.
2 months ago, I ranked every NBA playoff teams right before the playoffs started. I looked at each team in detail, completed my bracket, and even did a bracket challenge with you guys. We're gonna react to that video today. We're gonna see how many predictions I got right. I'm expecting
Bro has zero ball knowledge. Just because I have this video saved, let me watch. Just because I have it saved, I have no idea what was going on. The way I see it, he has two screens on one side and the second side, so I might need my screen to be on the top side. Yay!
Expecting a lot of these to be right on the money. I got an started. I looked at each team in detail, completed my bracket, and even did a bracket challenge with you guys. We're gonna react to that video today. We're gonna see how many predictions I got right. I'm expecting a lot of these to be right on the money. I got an entire regular season to base it off of, so I'm expecting some greatness here. Without further ado, let's get started with the Houston Rockets. The Rockets are ass. All right, they can't shoot. Let's get it started. Let's start out hot. Mentons can probably work construction. All right, Tara Eason. I mean, we all know about Tari Eason. Kevin Durant's great, but the rest of the team is so bad that I can't see the Rockets making a deep run, all right? I'm putting the Rockets at a D. Next up, wowzers. Is basketball analysis on this website ever going to get better than that? I mean, that's just the real question we got to ask ourselves. Because that was spot on. Who we got next? Next up, we have the Cavs. Now, the Cavs were a 1 seed last year before they picked. Oh, God. I just don't think this core is good enough to make it through the East. But I think they're a better team than the Rockets. I don't see them making the conference finals, though. So I'm going to... Okay. You didn't have to go there. You could have stopped at making it through the Eastern Conference without going there. I put him at a C. Yeah, no, that's kind of bad. Because the Cavs are similar to the Spurs, right? Being up by 20 plus on the Knicks. So they're clearly a better team than a C. Now, see, this next one, though. This one really scares me. They're just so well ran. They draft well, they scout well, and most importantly, they develop talent well, all right? Guys like Hugo Gonzalez, Keita, Baylor Shireman, Jordan Walsh. I mean, these guys have just stepped up this year.
Who's the bald guy?
None of those guys played well in the playoffs. Hugo Gonzalez might have had a flash. Keita just kept fouling. I think with this depth and their past playoff experience, the Celtics are definitely a championship contender.
No, they were not. That was bad. That was terrible. That was
See, I don't like how we started. Well, let's be honest. Nobody saw this coming, right? Like, almost everyone had the Celtics winning the championship. Next up, we have the most depressed team in the playoffs, the Orlando Magic. These guys hate each other, all right? I don't think I've ever seen team morale this low. And, see, their team morale was so bad all year. And there was clips of them not listening to the coach, Paolo Banchero playing like booty. Guys were just all over the place, but then they just started turning up against
big ass for
Pistons. Paolo Banchero has regressed. I mean, just listen to how people were talking about this guy less than a year ago.
Which team has Paolo Banchero? I mean, that's the answer here is the Orlando Magic, because he's one of the 10 to 12 best players in the NBA. I don't really think it's debatable. We just don't talk about him, and the rest of the fans don't really know about him because the NBA hides him like that new fucking wristwatch you just bought that you're too scared to wear out to dinner. Meanwhile, they got no problem wearing the Victor Wembanyama wristwatch everywhere they go. But when it comes to Paolo, he's being hidden, saved for some weird reason. When he's clearly shown, even if he's not one of the top 10 players in your mind yet, he's easily one of the 15 best players in the league objectively when healthy, showing...
Did I edit this video? I'm not too sure. Maybe I had it edited for this video because Paolo was disgusting in the playoffs. I mean, I swear he was a 2-pack of ass in the regular season. Where did this come from? Okay, I mean, I got it right. First round exit, right? Definitely looked like a better team than the Rockets, though, who I had at D. For some reason, even though I got this prediction right, I don't feel good about it. Next up, we have the Portland Trailblazers. This team can guard, man. Can guard wings, and they have big-ass Donovan Clingan inside, right? However, I don't know how they're going to bring the ball up in the playoffs. They lack a ball handler. Which could have been Dame, but Dame is really injured, so... And most of the time, playoffs come down to late-game execution, turnovers, you know, the fundamentals. Not really sure the Blazers can hold up, but they're a great team. I just don't see them upsetting the Spurs in the first round. But I think they're better than the Magic, so I'm gonna put them at a D. Next up, yeah, okay, so... ESPN, I'm taking phone calls. That is what I was expecting from this video. Let's keep this momentum up, heading with the Phoenix Suns. Just can't seem to close out games. And when you're playing OKC, you gotta close out games. I don't think they're going anywhere in the playoffs, but Lou Dort versus Dylan Brooks, matchup of the century right there, all right? I'm putting them at a F. Now we have the... Okay. Any team that got swept in the first round is an automatic F. I like the run that we're on here. Now, the Hawks have been one of the hottest teams in the league. After acquiring CJ McCollum near the deadline and during free agency, who's somehow looked like SGA, the team has been thriving, all right? The problem is they got Dyson Daniels, who's an amazing defender, but... Yo. Dyson Daniels. This guy was throwing asteroids at the rim, man. I still think they're better than the Rockets, though, so I'm going to put them at a C. Now,
bro has 0 for 0
the problem
for 0.
They got Dyson Daniels.
0. I have never seen a record like this. There is no way. Has 1 point. No, one free throw. Oh, it's the free throw. Oh. Bro cannot shoot a 3. He's worse than Shaq. Damn.
An amazing defender, but... Yo. Dyson Daniels. This guy was throwing asteroids at the rim, man. I still think they're better than the Rockets, though, so I'm gonna put them at a C. Now, okay, see, that's not a bad C. You know what's so funny about the Hawks is I can't believe they were the team that gave the Knicks the most trouble. C for a team that was first round exit, but took the Knicks to 6. You know what, man? I'm proud of that. Now I'm heating up like little baby and Gunna. Okay, but see, now I'm scared. I'm really scared. But before the year started, I had the Pistons making the finals.
And that's why I got the Detroit Pistons winning the Eastern Conference this year.
Yeah, no, see, I don't like how I put that take in, like, I was proud of that. This Pistons team is way better than last year's team. These guys are physical. Their depth is crazy. Similar to I still maintain my opinion. I think they're a championship contender as well. I'm putting them at an S. Pistons were so disappointing this playoffs. I just thought they had much more scoring support than they had in the regular season compared to the postseason. Like, I didn't expect Jalen Duren to be the biggest playoff dropper of all time. Like, they legit lost to the Cavs. Like, they didn't lose analytically. They actually lost. Definitely not an S-tier team. I mean, if we're just being honest. LA Lakers. Now, the last time I discussed anything Lakers related, all right, talking about Luka Doncic, he instantly pulled his hamstring. I don't know if I'm like a curse. I mean, the same thing happened with the Dominican Republic baseball team. The Hornets lost the same day I uploaded this video. No, I'm genuinely cursed. I tweeted today about Mbappe not doing anything in the World Cup. Then he scores 2 goals in the second half. And for the Lakers, the key is defensive rebounding. I mean, DeAndre Ayton, if this guy can just grab the ball. He can't. He can't do it. His hands are made out of cognac jelly. Like,
it's not content. So it's funny bit. It's something I can watch when I'm chilling, but it ain't it. Nah. It ain't it. It ain't hitting like the way it's supposed to. I'm gonna finish it later though. I won't even lie. I might finish it even later. What's this? The agent speakers on YouTube blueprint and how to get views. What you mean about that? This is the most random video I've ever had to make. The disability.
Yeah, we post on IG and on TikTok. I think AMP posted on Twitter. I really should just go on Instagram, but whatever. Twitter's a little more convenient. Look, chat. Me at 4 years old. Hold on. This is me at 4 years old. I just played my first ever video game, Need for Speed 3 on PC. Go to game. That's Windows 98. This is me at 12 years old. I clip NFL plays and I post them on the internet now. I spend most of my day on my stomach, lying down. Accurate. Laptop. It's really fun. This is me at 16 years old. I'm addicted. I'm creating my 4th YouTube channel. I'm gonna call it Agent Zero. GTA 5 is coming out soon, and this is my moment. I can feel it. This is me at 22 years old. I was going through a lot, okay? But I figured it out, and I'm finally doing it full time. I even hired my first employee. Niggas say, why y'all saying damn, what the fuck? And this is me now, at 30. Paying it forward by getting one of my mods the same laptop that helped me start my journey. Yo, shout out Microsoft. They just paid for the next 2 marathons. Oh! No cap. They got me right. Bro, me. Yo, chat, remember when me and Duke were at the Microsoft event? I literally was yapping with them afterwards. I'm like, nah, this is my favorite laptop. You know what I'm saying? Just send me the laptop. I deadass use the laptop. Please send me the laptop. Please send me the laptop. Please. Yo, and they're like, yo, you want to do something? We got some, stuff around the laptop if you want to do something. I'm like, hell yeah. But yeah, shout out Bragg. He went crazy with the animation, bro. He literally got it back to me in 4 days, bro. He's a GOAT. This is me. Yo, Child's really a performer, gang. Look at me on a mic, freestyling in kindergarten. You feel me? Like, you see what I'm saying? Yo. I remember we saw this picture. My mom had this picture on her nightstand, so I saw it all the time growing up. I feel like This picture is imprinted in my brain. At 4 years old, I just played my first. Nah, these pics like this is a throwback, bro. I look like the final boss, like Bowser or some shit in this flick. Yo, we watching the game in the background. You know what it is, chat. Always been a fan, nigga.
What my watch later is crazy. And I got clickbaited. I don't appreciate that I got clickbaited. Damn. I got clickbaited. Ooh, Final Destination. Okay. No, this is a bit I can get behind. Final Destination, for some reason, I think niliona, lakini I was too young to understand what I was watching. But I have enough pop culture references.
Death is supposed to be silent.
Wait. Final Destination, the zile vitu fulani zenye. I'm pretty sure I've watched it, but I'm not sure that I've watched it. Sijui kama mnapata hiyo weird combination. It was in that era that I was watching movies. Nilikuwa naona movies lakini sikuwa najua titles zao. Therefore, the video is called Why Final Destination Makes No Sense. It's supposed to make sense though. I don't know why.
Death is supposed to be silent and inevitable, and then you take a look at Final Destination, where Death sends the protagonist a preview, then a list, then a schedule. Why? Oh, and supposedly he has rules, but he broke them every single movie. Those are not the only things that make no sense, but there is a reason this franchise has run for 6 films, and it has nothing to do with death, so what's that reason? To get to that reason, we first have to walk through everything wrong with this franchise, or, well, wrong might not be the best word, because I love the franchise, really. Just things that don't add up. There's a lot. And the first thing appears before Death has even shown up himself. Alex Browning is on Flight 180. He gets a vision of the plane exploding and, obviously he freaks out. And he gets a group off the plane explodes anyway. So, that's the opening. And it's the move that breaks the franchise. Death is the antagonist of this entire story. Death's whole job is silent and inevitable, so why is he sending Alex a nice little trailer? What does he get out of warning the target? The franchise has answers, and none of them survive thinking about for more than 10 seconds. Defense 1, the vision is a gift. A psychic gift? From whom? Death is the bad guy here. He doesn't hand out gift cards, he kills people. Defense 2, the vision is a curse. A curse from death that helps the target escape death is the worst curse ever designed. If I curse you with the ability to dodge me, I've lost the fight before it started. And defense 3, death needs the orders to be witnessed. Whole forum threads on this one, by the way. The idea is death runs on some kind of cosmic ledger and someone has to see the deaths before they happen for them to be properly logged. Which means death, the supposedly omnipotent reaper, runs on the same paperwork system as the DMV. Maybe ICE is a better comparison. Defense 4 is the funniest. This vision happens because the protagonist was never supposed to die in the first place. Which means death made a clerical error and the universe corrected it, so now death has to spend an entire film fixing his own mistake. The mortician will explain all this later. Wait until you find out he has a backstory, but before we actually get to the mortician, someone has to die first. And that guy is Todd. He's at home in the bathroom, average day.
What about the people that died on the plane? If the person that was supposed to die was the guy that got the vision, kama yeye ndo alikuwa anafaa kudedi, mbona watu wengine walikufa? Was that not enough? Was it targeted? Was it specific? Does death know who he wants? I really need to rewatch the Final Destination again.
The toilet
I can't
is
remember all
leaking
this shit.
and water spreads across the floor. He almost slips a few times. I mean, he just misses the spilling water, goes about his evening cutting some hair out of his nose, but then he starts taking clothes off a clothesline strung above his bathtub. This is the point where Death would, in any sane universe, just stop his heart. Death is omnipotent, and he could pick any method he wants. He picks the
like the Death Note, a heart attack. Just like that, you're gone. Just like that, you're gone.
Clothesline. Todd slips and falls forward, rips the clothesline off the wall, and it loops around his neck. Now, he's hanging in his own bathtub and choking, and he tries to climb out. The shampoo and conditioner he just knocked over have spilled into the tub. Whoopsie! There goes.
I'm pretty sure sticky, slippery floor does not work like that.
Traction. He reaches for the scissors on the sink, doesn't quite get there, and he suffocates 39 days after Flight 180. That is what an omnipotent entity decided was the optimal way to kill a teenager. Now, zoom out. Death could have done this in 2 seconds, but he didn't. He engineered a sequence involving a toilet leak, a clothesline, 2 bottles of healthcare product, a sink full of scissors that were almost but not quite reachable, and a precise sequence of slips. Every step had to land. If the conditioner doesn't spill, Todd climbs out. If the scissors are 6 inches closer, Todd cuts the cord. If the leak doesn't start an hour earlier, Todd doesn't slip in the first place. This is the franchise's actual antagonist, and it's more or less coincidence. And I absolutely love it. It gets even better in Final Destination 5. Olivia goes in for laser eye surgery. Her head is clamped, and she's squeezing a teddy bear out of nervousness. Scary, right? The bear's glass eye pops out and falls on the floor. Meanwhile, the doctor leaves to grab a file. A cup of water she left on a water cooler tips over because the cooler bubbles. The water hits the laser machine's outlet, and she tries to reach the emergency stop and knocks the remote to the floor, which presses the activation button. The laser burns through her eye and then her hand. Wait, hold up, her eye laser's actually that strong? No. I'm rocking negative 2.5 contacts right now, but I'll definitely keep them my whole life if this is the only other way to fix them. Back to Olivia though. She gets off the table and she's in high heels. Of course, she's in high heels. And she trips on the teddy bear eye. She falls out the window, lands on a car, and her actual eye rolls into the road and gets run over by a different car. I have no idea how I'm gonna show all of this on screen yet without all that. Should have thought about that sooner, actually. Enjoy the blurs if that's what we end up using. Maybe we'll use badly drawn PNGs. But anyway, Death engineered all of that. Death could have stopped her heart in the elevator on the way up, but he chose the teddy bear. The Rube Goldberg kills are the franchise's signature, and people show up for him. And every single one of them is Death deliberately picking the slowest option available. That means we gotta give it to them, right? They make entertainment by making it look like freak accidents that could happen in everyday life. And because they're freak accidents, everything you see in the movie builds tension. We're not gonna question it if it makes any sense. Well, that would be one thing if Death's rules didn't contradict themselves and keep creating new ones. But what are those rules? In Final Destination 1, the rule is Death takes survivors in the order they would have died on the plane. Save someone, Death skips them and goes to the next person in line. Alex saved Carter, Billy dies next. Clean rule, right? Then, in Final Destination 2, a brand new rule. New life cancels Death's chain. Pregnant women giving birth, people drowning and getting resuscitated, anyone whose existence wasn't supposed to happen yet, they all count. The mechanic was not mentioned in the first film, and the first film also had none of those things, which was probably lucky for them. Then, in Final Destination 3, the warning signs are now photographs. Wendy takes pictures at a carnival, and the pictures predict the deaths. Photographs were also not a rule in films 1 and 2. They just are now. Then, in Final Destination 5, the biggest change. You can kill someone to take their time. Just murder another human being, and Death adds their remaining years to your account. This rule has never existed before, and Sam and Peter find out about it in a conversation with the mortician. I'll still come back to this mortician later.
Wait a minute. We kill someone, we get their life? Is that what you're telling me?
And from there, the movie basically turns survival into a murder economy. Nathan accidentally kills someone, Peter takes the rule very literally, Sam ends up killing Peter to save Molly. Every film adds another loophole, and somehow, Bloodworth is always standing nearby, explaining Death like he's worked in customer service for the afterlife. He shows up in 4 of the 6 films. He's the guy who walks into the scene, explains the rule the writers just invented, and walks out. He never explains where he learned any of it, and he never explains why Death lets him walk around freely, telling everyone the rulebook. Tony Todd plays him with the perfect amount of do not ask me follow-up questions. For 25 years, he's just there. The franchise's rules guy, and he's cool. Then, Bloodlines came out in 2025. Turns out, Bloodworth was at the Skyview restaurant in 1969. He was a small child. A woman named Iris had a vision that the building was about to collapse and got a group of people out, including young Bloodworth. Death has been hunting their descendants ever since. Bloodworth survived because the rules say Death can't touch him until Iris and all her descendants are dead. Bloodworth has been a survivor this whole time, and he spent more than 50 years walking around watching other people die because Iris saved him in 1969, and the Order has not caught up to him yet. The franchise just retconned its own oldest character into the foundation of the entire universe, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm right about the retcon, that means the universe...
Somebody got paid to come up with this bullshit. You know that? You understand that? Somebody got paid to make this mysterious, omnipotent. I think they were trying to do Death Note, but terribly, for lack of a better word. The more time gets past, what? If you kill somebody the time that they should have had, it gets passed on to you, but the person was already marked for death. Therefore, their time was no longer applicable. What? Somebody got paid for writing this bullshit.
Didn't have a foundation until 2025. The rules Bloodworth had been explaining for 25 years weren't real. Is that so? Well, I have no idea, actually. I'm a guy making subpar videos on YouTube. Don't expect me to have too much knowledge. But the survivors? You can expect more of them. They could have ended all this in week 1. But how? Well, how to beat had already laid it out before. You can just beat him off and beat death. Step 1, stop driving. Death has used cars in every single film. You do not need a car. Walk. Step 2, stop using electricity. Death loves a frayed wire. Cut the power to your house. Light by candlelight. Actually, no, candles are fire. Death loves fire. Live in the dark. Step 3, no salons, no gyms, no tanning beds, no laser eye surgery, no carnivals, no tower bridges, no Comic-Con, no racetracks. You can live without a six-pack. Step 4, padded room. Lock the door, get a bedpan, order delivery, and expect every package for sharp objects. The delivery guy stays outside. That is a survivable life. Well, at least it was 100 years ago. Nowadays, we can't live without arguing with strangers online or doom scrolling on TikTok for at least 3 hours a day. But what does the franchise have its survivors do? Carter, having survived the train tracks once, takes a Paris vacation with Alex and Clear. A bus crashes, a sign falls, and Carter pushes Alex out of the way. The sign swings back and crushes Carter. The number on the sign? 180 backwards. The same pattern across every film. People who watch their friends die in elaborate accidents will, within a few days, return to gyms, salons, racetracks, swimming pools, and roller coasters, voluntarily. The script has them do it because if they didn't, the film would last 15 minutes. If any of these characters had locked themselves in a padded room,
Again, somebody got paid to write this bullshit.
bedpan, they would still be alive. They wouldn't feel alive, but they'd be alive. Bloodworth would have nobody to lecture, and the films would have to end. Or Death would just take my suggestion and start stopping hearts. Am I talking in circles right now? Hear me out though. This is the moment where the rules are supposed to matter. Where someone says, follow these specific instructions and you survive. Bloodworth has been showing up.
Why create rules of a universe if you're not gonna follow them and gonna make up new ones for the next movie?
For 25 years explaining the order, and nobody listens. The rules don't actually do anything, which the franchise knows. The franchise is known for 25 years, and it kept trying to fix it. Every fix made it worse. Final Destination 4 was called The Final Destination. The title was doing some heavy lifting. The lore had gotten messy, and the studio basically gave it a name that read like a tombstone. It came out in 2009, and critics hated it. The studio took 2 years to figure out what to do. Then, in 2011, Final Destination 5 came out with a pretty clever fix. For the entire film, we think Sam and Molly are post-Flight 180 survivors of a bridge collapse. The mortician explains the kill someone take their time rule, the bodies pile up, and Sam and Molly make it out. They board a plane to Paris to start their new life. The plane, oh my god, is Flight 180. The fix was to make Final Destination 5 a prequel. Sam, Molly, and the other survivors are the people sitting near Alex Browning at the start of the first film, and the bridge collapse happens before Flight 180. Every survivor we just watched fight for their life dies in the original explosion. That is a great twist, right? It also means the film just retconned the survivors of the first film into part of an even bigger order that came before, which is great for the twist, but bad for the rules because, you know, if Death runs sequences forward through Flight 180 in Destination 1, and forward through the bridge in Destination 5, the bridge survivors are the Flight 180 victims, then Death is running 2 overlapping queues across the same people at the same time, and somehow keeping the paperwork straight. Death should, oh my god, please do my taxes. I'm sure you do it well, right? For 14 years, no Final Destination film. The series quietly died. Or, so you thought. Then, in 2025, Bloodlines came out. The fix this time was the generational reset. Iris Campbell has a 1969 vision of the Skyview collapse, and she saves dozens of people, including young Bloodworth. Death hunts their descendants for the next 56 years. Iris's granddaughter Stefani inherits the vision, and the order now runs across bloodlines, which is, again, a great twist. Also, again, bad for the rules. Because if Death has been hunting Iris's family since 1969, then the Flight 180 deaths in every other Final Destination disaster were happening while Death was already mid-job on the Skyview Descendants, which means Death has been juggling multiple multi-generational cues across 6 films and 4 decades. The audience clapped harder, Bloodlines made a lot of money, and the franchise is back. Did anyone come back for the rules? No. The rules are now worse than they are in 2009, and people came back because the kills came back. Bloodlines has its own absurd opening Rube Goldberg sequence at the Skyview, and that's what got the audience in the door. Every fix has made the lore more incoherent, and every fix has also made the
Forget the lore, just make a movie about people dying for no reason, man. If the rules don't even make sense, why are they big rules in the first
franchise more popular, which is the whole point, and the lore was never doing the work. And if the lore wasn't doing the work, what is? Honestly, Final Destination's actual product is a particular kind of dread. The kind where you sit in a salon chair and the chair feels different now. Okay, what a horrible way to describe it. Let me try again. It's more or less like suddenly seeing plane crashes on your feet the moment you step into your flight. That particular kind of dread where, you know, statistically you're good, but still some feeling of dread lingers with every bit of turbulence and every sound you convince yourself the plane has never made before. That feeling does not care about the rules. It cares that the same things that kill people in this franchise are the same things that almost killed you last Tuesday. The closer the franchise stays to that feeling, the better it works. The further it gets, and the more it has to invent a mortician. The proof is in Final Destination 2. The open sequence on Route 23. Kimberly Corman is driving onto a highway entrance ramp, and a logging truck ahead loses its load. Logs hit the pavement, and logs slam through the windshields, SUVs flip, and a garbage truck plows through cars. A gas tank ignites, and the highway turns into a fireball. There is no mortician in that scene. There was no kill someone take their time rule being explained. There was a truck full of logs and a highway, and physics doing what physics does on a highway when logs are loose. Oh, God. It has been called the greatest car
that has traumatized everybody into not driving behind logs.
crash scene in movie history. It works because Death is not in it. Death doesn't have to be in it. The accident is what Death does in real life, and the film is just pointing at it, you know, like, hi! Every time the franchise has tried to add rules that add to that feeling, the rules have weakened the feeling. The trick is the chaos, and the lore is the cleanup, which brings us back to Bloodlines. Tony Todd played Bloodworth across 4 films in 25 years. He died in November of 2024, rest in peace. But Bloodlines came out 6 months later, with Bloodworth in it for the last time, and a backstory the character had been waiting his whole life to get. The film is dedicated to him. The franchise grew up, and the character became someone the franchise was clearly going to miss. Bloodworth's last scene is the franchise admitting on screen that the character was always doing more emotional work than rulebook work. He was the one person across the entire universe who had been told he could not die yet, and he was tired. He deserves some rest. And it tells you what the franchise has actually always been doing. Final Destination is a Rube Goldberg machine, and the story doesn't matter, and neither do the rules.
It doesn't matter. Okay. If it doesn't matter, then I'm not gonna watch the rest of it.
Bloodworth exists to walk in between set pieces and explain why the next set piece is allowed. We did not watch 6 films because we needed to know why Iris saved Bloodworth in 1969. We don't.
It's the anticipation that builds up when you're watching some bullshit build up until the person actually dies.
Care about that part.
It's like, it's why 1,000 Ways to Die was very successful.
We watched 6 films for the log truck, the tanning bed, the clothesline in the bathtub, the chain reaction in the kitchen, the laser eye surgery, and the teddy bear's eye in the road. And we always knew, nobody walks into a Final Destination film for the lore or things to make sense. They give us the kills and we forgive the rules. That is the reason the franchise has run for 6 films, and that is what the intro promised. It has nothing to do with death. The kills are...
That lady was running around with fire. That's a good way though. Wait. Like the video. Yes. Insane. We do not go for the lore or the story. As this is and I want a solo labeling for the fights and the boom and the kablooies. Go watch Final Destination for the deaths and the Goldberg machines.
Or the franchise. So, does Final Destination make sense? No. Does it have to make sense? No. Do slow walking killers make sense? No. They should crawl instead of walk. But why? Well, I actually go over that in an entirely separate video that you should definitely watch. You should absolutely watch it. I think it's pretty great. So click here to find out.
It is called Where Every Avenger Is Before Doomsday, explained in detail. I have not been tapped into the MCU.
Some are retired, some are breaking realities, and one in particular has turned into a full-blown villain. The Avengers have been scattered post-Endgame, but they've definitely been busy, and each of their individual stories is starting to affect the multiverse in massive ways. So, let's get into this mess, shall we? Because, man, it has been really messy. Hawkeye. The first time we see Clint after Endgame is in 2024 during Hawkeye Season 1, while he's just chilling around in New York, catching up on a lot of missed family time. His very homicidal past as the Ronin starts to catch up to him. Here, he's hunted by Maya Lopez, aka Echo, who wants revenge on him because she thinks he killed her dad. That's not what actually happened, though. The death of William Lopez was actually orchestrated by Wilson Fisk. Just regular Kingpin stuff.
Your boss wanted your father dead.
You see, Hawkeye had a confidential informant who was actually Wilson Fisk, and Clint didn't know he was talking to Fisk. He received a tip about William, who was the leader of the Tracksuit Mafia before Fisk took over. They're basically a street-level crime outfit operating out of New York City, which is now Kingpin's turf after rising to political power in New York. And Fisk didn't want Lopez's competition within the tracksuits, so he had Hawkeye take him out, who was honestly just looking for bodies to drop. Clint also runs into Kate Bishop, a highly skilled archer who idolized Hawkeye after he saved her during the Battle of New York. She's also wearing his old Ronin suit. So, they have a real Batman-Robin thing going on.
Yes.
He's also getting attacked by Yelena Belova during all of this because she believes he's responsible for Natasha's death on Vormir. All in all, he's fighting a two-front war against a vengeful crime syndicate and a master assassin. And he's supposed to be retired, by the way. Throughout all of this, he basically adopts Kate Bishop, even bringing her home to the Bartons for Christmas morning, and then burns the Ronin suit, officially passing the title of Hawkeye to the next generation. Bucky Barnes. From the Winter Soldier to U.S. Congressman, Bucky's been real active ever since Endgame ended. Before most of his notable activities, he was honestly just trying to be a functioning human. He even had mandated therapy with Dr. Rayner. Bucky spent months dismantling old Hydra cells he had helped establish during his time as the Winter Soldier, and he even tracked down victims to apologize personally, for killing their family members.
Yes.
Yay, Bucky.
Of course, I completed rule number 3.
I am no longer the Winter Soldier.
I am James Bucky Barnes,
and you're part of my efforts to make amends.
He also broke Baron Zemo out of his prison because he needed his help to track down the Power Broker and the new Super Soldier Serum, which was eventually stolen by the Flag Smashers. Together, Bucky and Sam pretty much took them down. Although he did get into trouble with the Dora Milaje for the whole Zemo prison break.
Yes.
Didn't go Zemo.
And that's not all. He's been keeping tabs on CIA Director Valentina Fontaine, leveraging his status as a congressman to monitor all her illegal operations with the OXE group. Bucky's got some pretty big plans. He is also part of the new Avengers and is actually a core member. Bucky was responsible for saving New York during the Century's Emo episode, which almost sent New York itself to the Shadow Realm. Thing is, the whole new Avengers thing wasn't really planned. It was kind of a power play by Fontaine to keep the new Avengers in control, but that really didn't work out for her.
Meet the new Avengers.
We own you now.
On the other hand, Bucky and Sam, well, their relationship isn't exactly in the best place. You see, Sam's actually forming his own Avengers initiative, and both of them are pretty opposed to the other's way of doing things.
But we are the Avengers. The government said so. How does Sam Wilson not understand that?
Well, he does have the shield.
Weren't you going to talk to him?
I already did.
And?
It went poorly.
Sam wants to do things the way Steve Rogers did, and he has the legal copyright to the Avengers name.
You know he's filed for copyright of the name?
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
He's also going after them legally, and pretty much views them as the wrong choice. We left Bucky at the end credits of the Thunderbolts, discussing where to go from here with the Avengers and picking up a spaceship with a very interesting number. Bruce Banner. Things have actually been pretty quiet for Bruce after Endgame. Mostly, he's doing his own
Bruce is gonna be in the new Spider-Man movie. I can skip this part, can't I?
stuff, having a lab on a private island in Mexico built by Tony Stark, and just trying to live a normal life. This actually leads him to reconnect with his cousin, Jennifer Walters. Oh, by the way, he's totally human now. How, though? Bruce came up with the inhibitor, a device he wears on his arm which lets him be a human full-time. He came up with this so he could heal the cellular damage from using the nano gauntlet, something he's not really able to do when he's hulked out for reasons? It works by suppressing the gamma mutation, so he's no longer a grade A1 crash out. But gamma-related troubles creep back into his life when he accidentally turns Jennifer into She-Hulk during a car accident in which she's exposed to his blood. To be fair, anyone would crash their car if a Sakaran ship landed in front of them. He then pretty much spent his time trying to train her in the ways of being a Hulk, although even that was complicated. They didn't really get along too well. Sometime in between, he also went back to Sakaar. We don't really know what he did there except that he came back with a half-alien, half-Hulk son known as Scar. Oh, also, he apparently made peace with Emil Blonsky. Not sure how you go from leveling Harlem to exchanging haikus, but hey, it's Marvel.
That fight was so many years ago, I'm a completely different person now, literally.
They also had a real small rematch. Nowadays, he's actually a professor at Empire State University with a new inhibitor too, and a freshly healed arm. He might play a pretty key role in Brand New Day by helping Peter navigate his mutation and enhanced powers. But we covered that in our Brand New Day video, which, hey, it's out now. Thor, Odin's son. During Endgame, we found Thor in a pretty big slump, full of depression, grief, and a huge sense of failure. The defeat of Thanos was the start of a new chapter for him. And the first step was giving the throne to the Valkyrie. Thor spent his entire character arc in the Infinity Saga building himself up to be worthy of the throne, so that was pretty big for him. He instead chose to travel with the Guardians of the Galaxy and do a lot of soul-searching. This intergalactic journey got him back to fighting shape, but he was kind of a mess emotionally still. Then duty called during the events of Love and Thunder, where he and Jane Foster fought against Gore the God Butcher. Oh, yeah, speaking of Jane, they got back together in this movie. So that whole thing finally came full circle. While he eventually did defeat Gore, the Asgardian lost and gained two crucial things in this movie. The love of his life, Jane Foster, who succumbed to her cancer, and the chance to be a father, having adopted Gore's daughter, Love. She's not an ordinary kid either, and that's excluding the fact that she was brought back by eternity. Currently, Thor's just spending his time raising Love and protecting the galaxies with her, though in a trailer for Doomsday, it seems like he's gearing up for one final massive battle.
So that I may fight once more, defeat one more enemy, and return home to her.
Carol Danvers. While some other Avengers were enjoying downtime, Carol Danvers was busy taking down the Kree Supreme Intelligence and crippling a galactic empire. This earned her the nickname the Annihilator among the Kree survivors.
No, we do it now, before the Annihilator appears.
But the battle against the Kree was also a very personal one. You see, for years, Carol lived under the impression that the source of her power was an inhibitor chip. Not only did this suppress her memories, but it also made her think she was a Kree. She was essentially manipulated to forget her entire identity as a human being. Once she pieced back her memories on Earth and realized the Supreme Intelligence had been suppressing her, she ripped out the inhibitor chip, and all the raw cosmic power that the chip suppressed came rushing forth, unlocking her binary state. Her fight against the Kree was definitely about taking down the Kree Empire, but it was also about reclaiming her life. But to people of Kree, she's essentially the one who destroyed their entire society. That's what motivates Dar-Ben, a Kree survivor, to go after her for revenge in the Marvels. It doesn't help that Carol feels pretty guilty herself for what she did to the Kree and their homeworld Hala. A lot of weird stuff happens to her in the Marvels. She has a midlife crisis, aliens come for her.
We have no choice.
And a random teenager she's never met, along with a child of her best friend, suddenly becomes magically linked to her powers. It wasn't a fun time. For once, she can't punch her way out of the problem, so she flies straight into Hala's dying star, reigniting it and bringing life and light back to Hala and the Kree, and finds some mental peace while doing it. Scott Lang. Ant-Man moved up big time in the world, going from petty thief to the successful author of his own autobiography called Look Out for the Little Guy. This is an actual promotion by Paul Rudd, but you get the point. Now, what's he actually selling here? Basically a recollection of the events leading to Thanos' defeat. And that's not all. He's also hosting podcasts and living a pretty cozy civilian life in San Francisco. But things got chaotic for him again when his daughter Cassie accidentally established a two-way link with the quantum realm and pulled the entire Ant family down into the subatomic dimension. There, Lang was forced to confront an exiled variant of Kang the Conqueror, and you all know what Kang is about. This specific variant eradicated countless timelines and slaughtered the Avengers across the multiverse. He also met Darren Cross again, who apparently shrank into the quantum realm and is now a cybernetic hoverchair. Eventually, they defeated him and escaped, though it wasn't easy. But the experience did a number on Scott, who is now pretty paranoid of the chance of a multiversal war. Honestly, at this point, it's a real possibility too, so I don't blame the guy. But it wasn't all bad, because Quantumania was also about Cassie Lang coming into her own as a hero, so it was a pretty proud dad moment for Scott. Wanda Maximoff. Besides Peter Parker, Wanda is the only Avenger who's chronically at rock bottom. After Vision's death, she pretty much went off the deep end. And what do I mean? Well, casting a massive reality-altering hex over Westview, fabricating a whole sitcom with an alive Vision and two twin sons, Billy and Tommy, and then having to erase that entire fake reality to free the townspeople. Yeah, we have a lot to unpack here. Her progression from Avenger to multiversal threat isn't a pretty one. The events of WandaVision not only broke her mentally, but also introduced her to the Darkhold, a book of ancient dark magic that pretty much corrupted her as she used it. The book's influence warped her grief, driving her to scour the multiverse for a reality where this family actually existed. And that's how she became the Scarlet Witch and began dreamwalking into other universes. At one point, she took over an alternate universe variant of herself and proceeded to absolutely butcher Earth 838's superheroes.
So there's a...
Besides that, she also went on a multiversal hunt for a teenager. Her pursuit of America Chavez and her multiverse-hopping powers was one of the darkest points of Wanda's character. She also ended up making an enemy out of Doctor Strange, who was protecting America from Wanda. And when I say enemy, I mean she literally launched a one-woman siege of Kamartaj, and won. And it only stopped when she was confronted by an alternate universe version of her own children, who were so terrified of her they couldn't recognize their own mother. That was the last straw Wanda needed to turn back, and she ended up destroying the Darkhold in every universe.
I opened the Darkhold. I have to close it. No one will ever be tempted by the Darkhold again.
Collapsing the source of it, Mount Wundagore, upon herself. It's not clear if she's still alive, but we'll find out soon enough. Sam Wilson. Left with a shield, a mission, and really big shoes to fill. Sam Wilson has had a tough time growing into the role of the next Captain America. A lot of his conflict came from living up to the standard Steve Rogers set, but he also is in uncharted territory as the first black Captain America. Instead of taking the super soldier serum, he operates as a one-man fighter jet with a serious upgrade to his wings, which are now entirely advanced vibranium Wakandan flight tech. Sam gets caught up in a lot of political drama and conflict post-Endgame, especially with Celestial Island being an adamantium jackpot, which is the new hot thing after vibranium.
It's even more indestructible than vibranium. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you adamantium.
You ever think about how just a few years ago, Chitauri tech was considered revolutionary? Fun times. Wilson uncovers a conspiracy by Samuel Stearns, aka the leader, that involves manipulating the newly elected President Thaddeus Ross, who is now a Hulk, but red and a lot more angry. He also has a really personal character arc with Isaiah Bradley, in which he uncovers the horrendous past of the United States and the super soldier experiments. All of this comes to a head when Ross loses control during a very public summit, and what happens next? Well, you know what they say. Hulk smash. Honestly, pretty tough deal for his first movie and outing as a superhero, even if he handled it really well. But the incident was enough for him to make a pretty drastic decision: bring back the Avengers Initiative, even though it's straining his relationship with Bucky. Sam's in a much more significant role now than he had ever been in Infinity Saga, and is shaping up to be one of the main players of the multiverse saga. Peter Parker. Man, what hasn't happened to this kid? 8 months after Endgame, Peter was struggling with the loss of Tony Stark and the expectation that he'd have to step up to fill that role.
What is it like to take over from Tony Stark? There's some big shoes to fill.
Post-Endgame, the guy desperately needed a break, and he hasn't gotten one. And he's really trying. But what do you do when your European school trip gets derailed by Mysterio, a massive drone plot utilizing misplaced Stark tech, and the reveal of your personal identity?
Spider-Man's name is Peter Parker.
Peter ended Far From Home with the entire world knowing who he is. Bitter from his loss to Spider-Man, Mysterio framed him as responsible for the drone strikes in Far From Home, and the fallout of this pretty much ruined Peter's life, even leading to him, MJ, and Ned being rejected from MIT, their dream university. Desperate to set things right, he approached Strange for a spell that would make everyone forget who he is, but he screwed that up too by constantly interfering with it. And the result? An incursion-like event that threatened to destroy Earth 616's reality as a whole. So Pete spends No Way Home dealing with villains of other Peter Parkers from Earths he's never been to, as well as meeting those variants of himself and learning from them. And you all know how that end goes. To set things right, Pete asks Doctor Strange to erase everyone's memory of Peter Parker, which, yeah, it works. But now, nobody knows Peter Parker. He may as well not exist as a person, only as Spider-Man. Now, 4 years later, in Brand New Day, he's a true street-level hero. No Stark tech, no Avengers, nothing to rely on but his own web shooters and spider senses. And he's going through a lot in this movie, too.
What is happening to me?
From mutating powers to an all-out conspiracy involving the Hand, a group of mystical ninjas obsessed with freaky immortality rituals. Stephen Strange. Following his resurrection in the blip, Stephen returned to a very different world. Turns out he's no longer Sorcerer Supreme. That's Wong.
Wait, I thought you were the Sorcerer Supreme.
No, he got it on a technicality because I blipped for 5 years.
Oh.
Operating out of the New York sanctum, Strange's arrogance and willingness to bend mystical rules led to his first major post-Endgame catastrophe. That's the whole train wreck with Peter. And I really need you to understand how bad this was. If Peter hadn't sacrificed himself, dozens or hundreds of variants could have come into Earth 616 chasing Peter, and even one is enough to cause an incursion. And speaking of those, let's talk about how this isn't even the first incursion tier event he's triggered. Apparently, on Earth 838, he was literally executed for this exact reason, constantly causing incursions.
From our experience, the greatest danger to the multiverse, it turns out, is Doctor Strange.
Although there, he was using the Darkhold to defeat Thanos. But he's literally doing the same thing in Earth 616. When he protects America Chavez, he ends up utilizing the Darkhold again to dreamwalk and possess the corpse of one of his dead variants in order to stop Wanda. And this left a mark on Steven. Literally. Dude has a third eye now.
Awaken your daughter.
Despite keeping America safe and stopping Wanda, in the post-credits, we find out he's caused another incursion.
If you caused an incursion, then we're gonna fix it.
Clea, a powerful sorceress, steps into Earth 616 to drag him so he can fix it. And now, we have no idea just how much trouble Strange is in, or how much he's caused. And that's pretty much every Avenger post-Endgame. One thing you guys might notice, they're all really scattered. These are a bunch of individual stories that have nothing to do with each other. I mean, besides a few pair-ups, most of these guys don't ever even meet anymore, which is a huge shift from the Infinity Saga. And speaking of the Infinity Saga, where's T'Challa in all this? Turns out, he passed away in-universe due to an undisclosed illness, leaving Shuri as the heir. So a lot of the old guard has either retired or passed on now. Where would you like to see the new Avengers go?
How are they gonna make this movie work? The only one that I've seen that are mixing is Hulk, and they have Punisher now. So I mean, it's an interesting take, but nah. I'm just waiting for that Peter Parker movie. Brand New Day better come out soon. I need to watch that. Yeah. That's enough for today. That is definitely enough for today.